Another Dave Brainerd appearance on the Professional Fanatics podcast. My dude, one of my oldest friends, known him since I was 8 years old. You've seen him hunting before. He's a legend. He's amazing. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for that intro. That was very, very flattering. The people don't know that when we met playing soccer when we were 8 years old, and when I came to meet you at your house the first time, you were on your roof throwing nails at me. So, an 8-year-old.
Yeah, well, I was also 8 though. At least let's preface that, because if I was like an adult and I was throwing nails at a child, that would be not great.
Fucking right? 8-year-olds, dude. Yeah.
I also remember the time you threw my shoe in the road.
Oh yeah, I remember that well.
That was a trampoline incident, but I actually have a quick story time for when I met Bob Kreider. This is good. I was at 8th grade Aurora University baseball camp, and I had an older brother, obviously, and I had access to these like the tobacco store, the local tobacco store would sell these. They were 5 hours long, right? And there was 3 movies involved, and it was $5, dude. So I'd load up on these, and I was selling porn to kids. Now I was a kid as well. To preface that, I was 8th grade, and there was 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. So no one had access to porn. So I was like, he said it when he first met me. He's like, I was walking on the line of kids. I was like, I got porn here. I got porn. And I was selling fucking porn. And I was selling it for $20. I was making 3 times my money, right? It was awesome. So yeah, some good stories of how you meet people. And the nail story is great because I do remember that. And I have a bad memory of it as a child. But I did, we had a lot of fun times, a lot of wild times. We'll get in the future episodes. We'll get into the time where you shut out the window with a BB gun, but that's a story for another day. And we also have the story of how we met Kappa, which is a bone story about flicking off the glasses. Again, story for another day. I am going to hit you guys with the intro, and we are going to get into this. Shout out to Matt. How you doing, Matt? Dave, a question for you. Thursday Night Football. We did the recap last night. You were not on it. I want your takeaways from the game last night. Trey Benson takeaways, Kyler Murray takeaways, maybe. Marvin Harrison, who was in that intro there as a turd, played out a little bit in the second half. That was nice. But in the first half was even worse than possibly week 3, if that's possible. What is your take on the game last night?
Yeah, there was a lot in that game. The Marvin Harrison stuff is probably number one. I mean, the Trey Benson thing we can get into as well, but Marvin Harrison was just what a roller coaster for the dude. I mean, stopping on the route and then just bobbling and handing him 2 interceptions that he was essentially responsible for. And then just and I listened to you actually, your reaction to it, and just how you felt he was kind of a flatliner, doesn't really show that fire. And I agree with you on that. And then the emotion when he scored the touchdown, that was just freaking bizarre roller coaster. The dude's an absolute mess. He may come out of it, but he's an absolute mess. Another thing that was a mess was the running game. I mean, Trey Benson didn't get enough work. DeMercado stole the touchdown. That's the story. But really it just they didn't give the role that we thought they would give to Benson. Benson was playing the Connor snaps, and towards the end of the game, DeMercado was playing the old school Benson snaps. So that was disappointing. There's a lot we could get to on the obviously the Seattle stuff, but other little notes I was really surprised JSN went catchless in the first. But ultimately, I just think the Seahawks are going to win a shitload of games, and the Cardinals are they were the most hollow 2-1 team I've seen. The team that they've beaten, they have no credibility.
To break down a couple of things you said to get your reaction from that in the micro. Trey Benson. So you're right about the role, but the first half, when it was somewhat neutral game script, he did play about 80% of the snaps. So I'm not worried about Trey Benson. He didn't look particularly great. And he's kind of a bouncer, kind of a tiny dancer. But I will say, you didn't mention the fact that Kenneth Walker had a bad game. The numbers aren't indicative of how Kenneth Walker looked. He bounced 4 or 5 plays and lose negative yards where there was 2 or 3 yards to be gained. And you already know what they feel like with him in terms of the red zone. They're giving that all, the goal line, all to Charbonnet. You saw the yelling match on the sideline. Like Kenneth Walker if you have Kenneth Walker, you're trading him right now, right, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, the box score doesn't look terrible, like you say. So if someone didn't see the game, that's another thing where you might have to sell sooner. But he'll have big games, and I don't know if it's the last chance to sell him, but it's a great time to sell him.
Would you rather have right now Trey Benson or Kenneth Walker rest of the season?
I would rather have Trey Benson just because I know going into the matchup that that's a player I could play. I can look at it and I could say, okay, let's say it was Carolina or somebody with a soft run defense, even though they just pitched a shutout. But yeah, somebody like that, and I'd say I'm rolling with Benson, and I feel really good about him as a top 24 play. You just don't know, even once you're in the game, who is going to get the valuable touches and the majority of the touches. There's a lot of people out there that own both. I turned Glade in our league, my league, into that person. He has them both. And that's just like taking up a huge percentage of your roster, and you never know who to play him, which one to play. And it's like whack-a-mole. I just don't like that vibe at all. So much rather.
Well, you mentioned you don't know like the Kenneth Walker, you know the role. I think I do know the role, and I think it's Charbonnet's role. As in it's a 50-50 split, but if it's a 50-50 split, give me the guy getting the goal line work. I don't even care if it's PPR. Yes, Kenneth Walker's getting the passing down work and the receptions, but give me the guy that's getting the goal line work in Charbonnet, and that's more trusted by the coaching staff.
I think I would still lean Walker just because he's more like I've seen he breaks a lot of long runs. Like you talk about not having the red zone role, but he doesn't necessarily even need it to get there. I've seen him get so many long runs. I think it's going to come down to passing game usage, and we haven't really seen how that's going to play out because I've seen some design like quick screens out to him with him lined out wide, Kenneth Walker, that is. So I think that's going to be kind of the tiebreaker because he's got efficiency. Charbonnet's got the red zone, and then who's going to catch the passes? That's going to kind of determine which one's the better play, but it's close.
All right, I got a couple questions here. I'll get to your questions here. 550 George and Isaac. Matt says, do you think something is wrong with the Kyler Marvin Harrison connection? Like there's a disconnection or actual beef? Get off this one because it appears that Marvin Harrison doesn't care about anything. So I'm not going to think there's a beef between Marvin Harrison and Kyler. I don't think there's a beef between Kyler and Marvin Harrison. He's probably frustrated with the drops. But I just don't think, I said it last night, I don't think that his teammates like, Kyler's not a likable guy. He's not a hard worker. He got the Call of Duty thing, and that's like reading too much into it. But like, he does not seem like a leader to me. I feel like he's a diva. He made the comment at the beginning of the game where he's like, he still thinks he could play Major League Baseball. Like, why are you even making a comment, bro? Like, you can't. First of all, you're 5'9". Second of all, you're almost 30. Like Major League Baseball, it takes you got to come back into the game. You want to play minor league ball, Kyler, for a while? You don't. So I just don't think his teammates like him. He's not a charged up guy. He's the opposite of Baker Mayfield, right?
Baker Mayfield. Now there's a guy. As Chris Collinsworth would say, now there's a guy.
Yeah.
I love Baker Mayfield. But yeah, Kyler Murray, I just there's so many things I don't like about him, and there's the only thing special about him is when he does some kind of highlight run. Other than that, that's why he has the notoriety. That's why he is still regarded somewhat well. But if you get down to it, how many deflected passes last night because he's so damn short, and just that team is destined for mediocrity. You could just see it written all over every single one of them, every single year, every time.
Dave, how many times did he slide on those little 2-yard carries where he could have got 5 yards? I get you want to save your Lamar Jackson's different. We need Lamar to stay healthy because they're a championship contending team. They were losing in this game, and you have Kyler doing these little pussy slides. Bro, like, set an example for your team. Don't take a big hit, but don't slide 2 yards early, dude. Like, try to make a move, fall down forwards. Don't slide, right?
Is it possible that he is trying to demonstrate that he could still play baseball?
Yes, that's what it is. He's like, I can slide, dudes. I can go to second base.
Like, check this out.
Trash. Yeah, look what I can do. Look what I can do.
Going for the first down, like the swim move with the ball. Like,
it's terrible.
That's
terrible.
We cracked the code.
I think we did. Isaac says, would you trade Addison for Golden?
Yes.
Man, you want Golden over Addison?
Hard on that one, yeah.
Really? Even with Jaden Reed coming back at some point?
Yeah, it's not going to be for a long time. And I really believe that I'm not impressed with Justin Jefferson right now in terms of production, and I don't think that I will.
Usage, yeah.
And so
Right, it's the
if
usage,
he's
right?
not eating, and we're all making a joke of Hawkinson, and we just saw what we saw with Jordan Mason, and I know we'll get to him, but I mean, like, I don't see enough meat on the bone. They're not going to put the game in Carson Wentz's hands or McCarthy's when he comes back. Whereas Golden, I mean, this is his coming out party this weekend. It is. This is it.
All right, 5.0 George, Sutton, Keenan, or QJ, little 8-man league. Dave knows all about these little leagues.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Dave. It's Sutton, right? It's Sutton.
Yeah, it is Sutton, and it's because it's the Bengals. And with that, I feel like Keenan and QJ, I do think that they will both get something. I think one of them will eat. I think QJ is most likely to get a big play, but I do anticipate them beating Jackson Dart pretty handily, and that being a game that they're not really pushed to throw in. I just don't see the Giants pushing them. I could be wrong, but yeah, Sutton, I think you might get a little bit of a bounce back from Cincinnati offensively because that Brian Flores thing just makes everyone look like shit with Minnesota.
That's true. Yeah. All right. Tyler says my running backs are kind of weak. ETN, Swift, Javonte, Monte. Trying to upgrade at running back 1. His wide receivers are Puka, Nico, and Olave, Waddle, Ridley. What 2 guys would you package for an upgrade? Monty for sure. With ETN and Monty are the 2 guys I'm trading, right? Either of those guys for where they're at.
I think all 4 of those running backs are people that I would actually be looking to move for different reasons. Like it literally looks like a sell high article to me. Like
not Swift. Not Swift is not in that for sell high because he hasn't stopped talking.
I argue that it is because I think there's a growing sentiment that after the bye, he's out of here like shit through a tin horn. That's what I'm like. This starting job, he's keeping it warm through the bye, and I expect changes after the bye if we're going to get him. So there's a risk that when you come out of that, he's getting 10 to 12 touches. So I would argue that he's viewed as a starter right now, and that may not be for long. Back to the question, though, it's tough to answer because of not knowing your league mate's appetite. I think ETN is the most palatable name along with Javonte. People are going to see the Monty box score. They might just go hunting after that. But Javonte Williams just lost multiple offensive linemen. We know that. So all these guys are sells. I would look to package if you're going elite, I would look to package Nico in one of them and get way up there, like into the JSN realm where you have the volume, you have the efficiency. Otherwise, a lesser target, perhaps get rid of Ridley if you can. Ridley and Javonte, Ridley and ETN.
I'm going to take a different direction on this one, and I'm going to think about who I want to keep opposed to who I want to sell. And Javonte is the clear sell in terms of like, you got where you drafted him and where he's worth now is the highest discrepancy. I think Monty on the national stage having that performance against the Ravens is awesome. And I still believe that's Gibbs' backfield, right? And there's going to be games where you're going to get 14 or 12 for 50 and nothing else for Monty. So Monty is the most value for me. And ETN, I feel I'm so worried about Tootin. So those are the 2 for me I want to trade. In terms of wide receivers, I think Waddle would be the guy, even though there's some inherent upside when they fire that nerdy-ass coach they have there, like McDaniel. I think that's the sell high there because Nico, you're not getting value for right now because he's still disappointed. Like Olave is yet to catch a touchdown. He's at the second most targets in the NFL. So I think it's Waddle and like ETN or Waddle and Monty to try to get like a third or fourth round talent player.
I think that's a good formula. Absolutely. I mean, the Waddle thing, I could see what you're saying as far as, he could have his value go up. So, yeah.
Yeah, Joey of the month might need PPR flex since Juwan Jennings probably out. Tillman, Trey Tucker, Ioman, or Downs? Man, probably Tillman's not questionable. He's going to play. So it's not Trey Tucker. It's not Down. I think it's Tillman for me. Dave?
Ioman or who do they have again? I'm trying to remember who Tennessee's playing.
They have the Texans.
Oh, you. Yeah, I actually would surprisingly go Trey Tucker on this one. I know that's a surprise to you, but it is in a dome. It's against the Bears, and I'll roll with the hotter hand. I don't think he's going to do what he did, but I don't think he's going to just disappear because he is running over 90% of the routes.
Right. Yes.
Got his hands on some returns too. So that's who I'd go with.
Your return league specialist. Matt says, I agree. I was thinking about how he's not charged up and lacks leadership, talking about Marvin Harrison. It's just a mess there in Arizona completely, right? And like someone asked me yesterday who the leader of that locker room is, right? It's supposed to be Kyler, and Buda Baker comes to mind, but a defensive player outside of Ray Lewis is not a leader of the team. So it should be the quarterback. The answer was James Conner. James Conner was the leader of that team. So now you lose him, and Trey Benson is a non-proven second-round potential knucklehead. We don't know. I'm not gonna say the guy's a knucklehead, but he's not James Conner. So that's the problem with that team. Their coach is not a leader. You saw the interview at halftime. That guy's a clown, bro. Yeah, who is that guy? Who is he? Like,
he's nothing.
Who is he? Like, I have expect to see him on an episode of like To Catch a Predator. You know, not to call anything out on the guy, but like, I don't expect him to be a leader on the sideline of men, because that is not who that dude is.
He reminds me of like a Bear, like an old school Bears hire.
Yeah. Like,
this guy's a defensive side of the ball, boring as hell. You know, and okay, then you're hired.
Matt says Kyler's slide is really the best thing about his game. I mean, it's pretty fundamental. It's fundamentally sound, the slide, right? Like,
him and Russ both do it. That's baseball, baby.
We got Devious in here. What's up, bro? Full PPR. Who should I start on my flex? Mason versus Steelers, Olave, Johnston. It's Mason no matter what. It's even if it's half, full, whatever, double PPR, it's still Mason. Thank you, Devious. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
And like that's what I said last week, as it was always Mason, no matter what the question. Like even Kamara, it was Mason. Like the line for me, Mason is he's an RB1, I guess is the point. For the next foreseeable future until Jones gets back and we see what that is. He's an RB1, right?
I mean, he's on the borderline.
Yeah, top.
That's an issue. I'm struggling.
Playable say. Leafy Greens. I'm afraid of the injury. I think he's talking about. What we talking about? Swift's injury. That's like he's still playing. Played last week. It's Pickens though, right? Even though it's a tough matchup.
Yeah, even with the health.
Or do you like Swift?
Yeah, I would go Pickens in that as well.
Yeah, because Pickens actually is better in half PPR because of touchdown upside, but you're talking about a running back that does get some catches, but like, you know, it's Pickens by kind of a lot, just based on he's going to have 10 targets this week.
That's easy for me. I mean, yeah, you want a piece of this. I mean, it might go wrong, but the target's got to go somewhere other than Ferguson, and with Lamb gone, I mean, this is not just somebody being thrust into a prominent role. This is a guy who's used to a prominent role. So, he's not Jalen Tolbert, you know. This is a dude. So roll with him.
Jalen Tolbert sucks. He sucks.
Yeah,
I thought he was better than that. I can see your eyes open. You're like, yeah. Top 5 says Love or Knicks this week. It's Jordan Love in my mind.
Easy,
the matchup's great.
Love, he's gonna smash. So it's like
gonna smash.
Him and Golden are gonna hook up. I mean, at least once, but I mean, it's gonna be. I think there's some fireworks between him and Golden.
What a nice guy Blake is. He texts. He just got in here 10:31. Yo, sorry I'm late. Guy watches every stream. I was on 3 hours and 18 minutes last night. I think he was in the whole stream, and he apologizes that he's late. I love you, dude. Appreciate you. You don't got to watch everything, but I do like that. The fact that you're here, right? It's nice. Appreciate that. 0.5 PPR, Sutton, Brian Thomas, or Debo?
Debo jumps off the page at me right now.
Even without Daniels, it doesn't matter to you?
No, because it's offset by not having McLaurin. That's the part that appeals to me so much.
Not Brian Thomas. See, I think I'm going to go Brian Thomas and ride that out one more week, baby. I hate Brian Thomas, but I'm riding that out one more week.
I think in a PPR, would you roll with me on Debo in a full PPR?
Yeah, you're going to get 3 or 4 design little screen passes.
Yeah. I think that's kind of like that one's a for sure. And then I think you can make a case for BTJ, but I'm kind of a BTJ hater, as you know.
Oh, same. But all right, Matt says 12-team PPR. Traded T. Higgins, Mason, and Garrett Wilson. He's 0-3. Traded T. Higgins and Mason for Garrett Wilson. Sorry. He's 0-3. He's got Gibbs, Bucky, Marvin Harrison, Debo, Waddle, Hunter. He had to shake things up. Dave knows all about shaking things up and making trades. He does 2 trades a week in his league. T. Higgins and Mason for G. Willie. Do you think that's too much for Garrett Wilson? I think Mason for Willie is fair.
Yeah, to me, T. Higgins is a stone zero. Like I got nothing. There's nothing there. There's nothing there.
There's something there. It's still T. Higgins.
I never liked him with it, but hey, look, if you want to sit on that, like Horton hatches the egg, like just sit on T. Higgins until maybe week 15, maybe Burrow comes back. Like until then, I got nothing for him. I think in this
He's still
case,
a wide receiver 3, bro. No, he's not a wide receiver 3.
No.
You'd rather have Trey Tucker, is what you're saying.
That's close. And if I had to bet my hard-earned money this weekend, who's going to outscore? I would honestly bet on Trey Tucker. I would.
Gross. That's how bad it is, huh?
Oh, you have no idea. Now this trade though specifically, Garrett Wilson, he doesn't blow my hair back like an alpha, but target share absolutely does. Like that's a piece given the group that he's got. I think Waddle is weak, Hunter is weak. Marvin Harrison Jr. is definitely weak. And Debo is great, but brittle. And he also isn't like one of those outside dominators like Wilson can be. He plays more in the slot and gadgetry. So, yeah, give me some Garrett Wilson, and I'm willing to part with Mason on that because of the presence of Gibbs and Bucky. I would love to get a running back, even if it was just like a minor one. But if you got to do the 2-for-1, I like this trade given the team.
Here's my thing. If there's a flex in this league, you lost the trade because you're 0-3. Mason, although I love him season long, is guaranteed the next 3 weeks to be an RB1-ish. And if you could, I like Mason, even in PPR, over Garrett Wilson the next 3 weeks. So if it's a flex play, and now if you only have 2 running backs, no flex, I get why you did the trade. So I think it's all about what your lineup is, right? Because if you could start Mason at flex, Gibbs, Bucky, Mason, who cares about your wide receivers? Now, if he's in your bench, you have to do it.
I do happen to know that Garrett Wilson, his next 2 games are Miami and Dallas, and perhaps that's factoring into this decision. I don't know about the next 3 weeks, as you say, being as big a slam dunk with those matchups coming up.
I don't care about the matchups. You're looking at volume, dude. Like, they're going to run the ball. Their defense is too good to get blown out. It's not going to be bad game scripts, right? We don't think?
No, I don't think so. It's the Steelers and the Browns with that bye mixed in. So, I mean, they're not going to get beat. It's just, are they going to be able to move the ball as well as they did against Cincinnati?
All right, we're 10 minutes behind on comments, so bear with us, gentlemen. Whoever commented below, Slapsky, some of the other guys, we'll get to them. Just give us a second. Blake says, what's the highest/lowest you'd go after if you were trading Ridley? If I was trading Ridley, I wouldn't trade him. If I would trade for Ridley, for instance, I just made a trade. It was we swapped. I traded my Brian Robinson Jr. and Matthew Golden, and I got Ridley, and I got the backup for the Colts, TJ Giddens, because I had Jonathan Taylor. So it was a handcuff swap, which I get Robinson's higher ranked. But I would say you'd rather have Ridley or Golden right now, Dave?
Golden.
What? No. You're too. We haven't seen anything from Golden.
Well, we saw 71% snap share, and we've
seen 8 targets a game from Ridley. So
I think one offense is going to the playoffs and will score at will, and the other team is the worst offense in the NFL. That's where I'm at. I mean, I'm just not into Ridley. I'm not, and I've seen like the guy, like, he's playing like shit to me. As far as trading him, though,
he is playing like shit. Yeah.
Here's the thing: when there's something really obvious, like James Conner goes down, everybody, even in an office league, knows that Trey Benson is in for an enhanced role, like in that scenario. In this case, you have to be in a pretty select group, people that are watching this, and you and I that are talking about it, that know that freaking Bo Hardegree is now going to be calling the plays instead of Callahan for Tennessee.
Not a bad thing.
If we give it 1 week and we know that something material has changed, his value could go up if the play calling improves in Ridley's favor just this 1 week. But no one in the market's actually reacting to the play caller change, even though it's possible that they should be. So you could just sit on them for 1 week. It can't get worse. It can't.
Dave, stop discrediting my statements because you're very intelligent, and now they're not going to listen to me because they all like you. Fuck you. Different take. Jelly of the Month says, drop Algier bye week next week to stash Corum. No, you want to target the owner of Bijan and trade Algier. That's the play instead of dropping him, right? Like, find out who has Bijan. No, and I'd rather have Corum, I think, than it's really close, Corum and Algier. They're a lateral move. So trade Algier and someone else and upgrade a position and then pick up Corum. That's the play. That's why you listen to this podcast, baby. Slapski, 12-man, half PPR, 2 flex, can be a tight end. Caleb, Genty, Pollard, Odunze, JSN, Juwan Johnson, Egbuka, Golden. Is he trying to just ask me what we think of it? He's got CeeDee Lamb on the bench. Caleb, Genty, Pollard, and he's got Odunze, JSN, and Egbuka. That's a good team and a 12-teamer, dude. I'm rating it. I'm giving it a B. What do you got, Dave?
I think running back is hurting for certain. And I think that would put it in the C+ category. Obviously, the wide receivers are great. Dunze, JSN, Egbuka, Golden. My God.
I'm not worried about Genty though, as much as most.
And Pollard is we just talked. That's a dead ass offense. So yeah,
right.
That's the.
But he's got Tootin. He's got Bill. He's got some guys. But yeah, running back could be his weakness because the bench isn't stacked with them.
Yeah, but those receivers are for a 12 team. That's insane.
Good one from Matt here. Any thoughts on the Breece Hall trade rumors? If it happens, how might it affect Hall's value in the Jets offense? It's not going to be for a back. He's not going to go to be a backup. So it's going to help Hall most likely to be a team that has a running back injury. Worst case scenario would be like a Cardinals situation, which we don't want. But there might be a team that is hurting at running back with an injury. In terms of how it affects the Jets offense, it doesn't affect it. It's awesome for the backups, right? It's awesome for this especially because he's not even on the radar right now. And then Braylon Allen would be wheels up. Garrett Wilson doesn't affect him at all. If anything, it's a good thing, right?
Yeah, I don't think it affects him at all. I don't think his target share could get much higher, and I don't think it would get much lower. So I don't think it changes.
Slopsky's asking, who do we start with that team at the flex spot? So it would be Genty and Pollard running backs, Odunze, JSN, Egbuka, and then it's Golden, Tootin, Downs, Ridley. It's Golden. And I'm saying it's Golden, so it's Golden, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Soon it will not be. Tootin will be one day soon if you hold on. Tootin will be that guy, but right now he is not. So Golden would be the play.
Recently traded Chase Brown and Bowers to get Genty and Egbuka. As long as you have a decent tight end to fill in, even like a Juwan Johnson, who I'm not a fan of in terms of like on that trade, because you really bought low on Genty, I guess is my point. And you got rid of Chase Brown.
Yeah, getting rid of Chase Brown was smart. Egbuka obviously is like on a rocket ship right now, so it's fine. It's very fair. It's very fair, but I think Bowers is the best player in the trade. Yeah,
Bowers is because it's positional eligibility.
Yeah,
that's really it.
And Genty
and it's a buy low, so it was a pretty fair trade. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's crazy he got what he got because he traded low on Brown and Bowers, who guys I wouldn't be trading because they're not worth much. So you actually got name value for these guys as opposed to production, right? And I think they're both going to be fine. Chase Brown's not going to return where you drafted him, but he's not going to be like outside the top 24, I feel like, going forward. Is that your sentiment on Chase Brown, Dave?
I have the same sentiment on Chase Brown as I do T. Higgins, to be honest with you, man. Like he has the lowest yards per carry in the NFL. It's the worst offensive line in the NFL. So I think the volume will be there, but I think I do not view him as a top 24 because if you actually look at the names that you're talking about getting in there with, like him or Cam Scadaboo, I'm sorry. I would take Scadaboo, and I think that's pretty easy right now just based on the eye test, what we saw. So, yeah, I don't know that he squeaks into the top 24, but volume will be there.
All right, comment from Matt. Real quick, 53 people in here. If you have not subscribed, 7 days a week, 2 hours a night, special shows, all your questions answered. Great guests like David here, who's even at this point an ancillary piece, even though he could have his own podcast, because the guy's a genius. You're going to get a lot of good stuff, gambling, fantasy, entertainment, you name it. Sub, like, get on the fucking train because this is taking off. This train's taking off, baby. Matt Friend. Thinking of flipping Mason and Hunter. Any shot, it gets me Brian Thomas, Ladd, or Rice. 2 for 1, single flex PPR. So it's kind of a shallow league. I don't want to trade Mason, unfortunately, but I would like Rice, honestly. Rice, you're 2-1. I'd wait one more week, though. Wait for Mason to pop off one more week, right, Dave?
You know, it's very tricky with Mason right now. You have to be very, very careful. It's just, here's the thing. I totally think that I agree with you 100% on Rice. That is the only one of that group that I would package that for. But as for Mason, he does play Cleveland on the road after this, but it's not really the road. It's another Europe. The fact is Jordan Mason isn't going to be on this continent for like 3 weeks. That does take a toll on a man. I'm not giving you shit. Like, that's the truth. And when he gets back, he has a bye week. So right now, the next 3 weeks are 2 Europe games, a bye week, and then he gets a date with clock-killing, ball-running Philadelphia. So the next 4 weeks is not all seashells and balloons for the dude. This may be the highest that you get to sell. I'm not saying the guy sucks. I love him. I really do. But, like, the Bengals at home versus the Steelers and Browns in Europe. Be smart here. Like, what's the most likely thing to happen? Does he take a dip? Probably. You got to.
This motherfucker plays one league and has more knowledge than anyone I know outside of myself, and it might be close. Top 5 says half PPR, Brees or ETN this week. It's still Brees Hall, right?
It will be because it's Miami, and I'm totally in with that. Totally, yeah.
Kelsey or Warren? Easy Warren. Bingo. We got Jackson. How you doing, Jackson? Bowers and Ken Walker for Amon-Ra. Grade the trade. I just don't like selling low on Bowers. Do you like it, Dave?
It's an interesting trade for sure. I'm assuming the guy has extra running back depth, and that's why he's doing this. You and I don't like Kenneth Walker. He's not a 0, but in your mind, you got to kind of put him to the side and focus on the parties at play here. It's Bowers and it's Amon-Ra, or the crux of it. Amon-Ra is drafted higher than Bowers in all drafts, I'm assuming, unless it was tight end premium.
Yeah.
So he is the best player in the deal. He's done nothing to show you any less than that, where Bowers has. It's a really close trade. I'm saying if the guy's got RB depth, I don't have a problem with it, because you're getting, with as much shit as happened to Jefferson, Chase, and Lamb, Amon-Ra is only getting more valuable because the wide receiver ones, that includes Nico Collins and BTJ, the wide receiver ones are so depleted, and Drake London. I mean, this is the only dude out of the whole
and Jamar Chase.
Yeah. So if anything, he's more rare than a baller ass tight end.
And you failed to mention that Kenneth Walker is a tiny dancer.
He is.
I just love hearing Elton John in my ear. It's better than Elton John in my mouth. All right, CK says Ertz, Hawk, or Pitts. Man, it's shit. Is it Ertz? I hate to say it, but it might be Ertz. Gross.
The Mariota thing is in play. Is it? It's tough, man.
I hate it. I hate saying Ertz, but it's probably Ertz. I mean, it's a flip a coin situation. Jay has a non-PPR. Henderson, Monty, or Warren. Need 2. Monty for sure, non-PPR. And then probably Warren until further notice.
Yep. Like, you can't play Henderson right
now.
It's
full PPR. It's full PPR. Full PPR. Does that change it for you? I didn't see that after. It's tough.
No. It's close, though. See, Monty's the only one that gets hurt by that, the PPR. But he's the best of the 3. He's the one you said first. He's the one you're the most sure of. So you really can't kick him out just on account of not catching passes. He's the most likely to score. So I still keep Monty and Warren there. Henderson, I have to see it not just 1 week, maybe 2, because they're already saying that Ramondre is going to play the same amount of snaps and he's not going to be punished. That's what they said today. So.
Right. And that's weird they said that. But Matthew says half point PPR. 10 team, got to trade for Bucky, Flowers, and Kamara. So 4 Bucky, 4 Flowers, and Kamara. It's a 3 wide receiver, 2 running back flex. I'm 2-1, just lost McLaurin. I would rather have Bucky than Flowers and Kamara. I know it's really close, but give me the stud.
Yes, I'm with you on that. And you're kind of through the worst of it a little bit with Bucky. He's had a really tough schedule. He's getting Tristan Wirfs back. I know they lost 2 other offensive linemen, but the schedule is really bad to start the year. And if you take a little peek, he has the best schedule in the world down the stretch. Take a little peek sometime. The best.
Little peep show. Matt, I think I already know Dave's answer to this one. It's, would you trade Juwan Johnson and Josh Downs for Quinshon Judkins? The answer is yes.
Yes, I would.
Even though we're both not Judkins guys. Last name, McAuliffe, Fields / Devonta Smith / Michael Pittman, all at plus 240. Who are these names would you take out there? That is in terms of, I'm guessing, anytime touchdown scorers. Who would I take out there? I'd probably take out Devonta Smith.
Yeah.
Or Pittman.
Smith is probably the least likely to score just based. He's a little bitch. The other, obviously Pittman is not. Fields gets plenty of touchdowns, but it is Tampa, so I think that he could have some decent plays. But at the end of the day, that's the first one that comes to mind because of his size. So yeah.
All right, we got Luke. I was just offered Jamar for Egbuka. Do I take it? You want Jamar? Jamar. I don't care how much you like Egbuka. It's still Jamar Chase. You want Jamar Chase, like by a landslide, right?
That's getting to be close to the line for me. I'm putting Jamar Chase. I'm putting Jamar Chase into that like wide receiver. I know this is crazy, but I have a lot of conviction on this. I really do. I feel very strongly that wide receiver 12 is kind of like where I'm starting him on this journey after that debacle. And he's going to have to work his way back up, and I don't think he's going to do it. I think by the time it's over, I think he might actually fall further. Egbuka may not be good enough for that trade, but he's close. Ibuka's in that 14, 15, 16 range, and I think that it's maybe not enough, but it's very tempting for me personally.
That's not good business, though, bro. Jamar Chase, come on, man. Nick says Baker or Purdy this week. I think I'm going to go – man, I think I'm probably going to go Purdy just based on the matchup. I know they're both banked up, I guess is the key.
Yes.
But it's Purdy for touchdown upside just because Baker has a tough-ass matchup. You agree, Dave?
I do agree. Purdy's got Jacksonville. I mean, I just think that's the play. Baker always does well, but it is Philly, and Philly just eats clock, man. The game just evaporates.
We got Sahil here, new here. Hi, welcome, man. Welcome. Appreciate you. 10-team, full PPR. Which two should I start? A.J. Brown, Adunze, London, Keenan Allen. I think it's London and A.J. Brown. Tempting to start Adunze. I know Adunze's been killing it. Maybe that's the answer, but I'm going London for sure, and then A.J. Brown or Adunze.
I'm going London for sure, and I would go Adunze for sure.
Over A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
What a world we're living in, huh?
It's a Jalen Hurts problem, not an A.J. Brown problem. I'll say that.
That's true. Jesse White, how you doing, buddy? Trade Ricky Pearsall for Alvin Kamara. Half-point PPR. It depends on your roster, I guess, because I trust Ricky Pearsall season-long more than Kamara, but I'd probably rather have Kamara in the short term.
Yeah, I don't think I would make that move. I don't think I would. Kamara has not shown the reception floor that he's shown in the past, and even if he did, this is a half PPR, not a full.
Yes. Nobody. I traded London and Adams for JSN and Hill. Did I get cooked or get cooked? Did I cook or get cooked? He traded London and Adams for JSN and Hill. That's pretty even-ass trade, man. Like, I still think I want London over JSN. I know that sounds crazy. I know full PPR, probably JSN. Half PPR, I want London. Adams and Hill, like, maybe I want Adams over Hill, but I want London over JSN. So that's like a pretty much fair trade, right?
I agree. It is fair. I'm JSN over London, and I'm Adams over Hill. So it is fair. You're upgrading one, downgrading another, and it comes down to personal preference. Tyreek Hill's the worst player in that deal, in my opinion.
Well, potentially, seemingly the worst player,
yeah.
Which he could be the best player if things work, but it's very volatile. Very volatile. We got Jackson 0-3 with CD and Rice. I sent so many offers like Zay Flowers straight up for CD, and I got rejected. Do I quit my league? No, don't quit your league because you already paid. So there's no point in quitting besides like making enemies of your friends. So you got CD and Rice. I mean, Rice is probably the guy to trade right now because he's not coming off an injury. I think you try to roll it out this week, and if you can go 1-3, you'll be okay. My thought. You can't do much. It's tough.
Yeah.
Injuries.
You just got to, if you haven't had a conversation with every single 3-0 and every single 2-1 team, you should.
Well, Dave, you have that conversation with everyone, no matter what the situation is. And you don't even need to make a trade. You make a trade because that's what you make trades and make trades. Nick Timmons, thank you. Ray said, thanks for the answer, fellas. First time viewers, subbed and likes. You'll be back. We'll see you soon. Appreciate you. Maybe you'll stick on here, ask us another question. Ask me if I've been my nipples pierced. Ask me how many beers I've had. I don't give a fuck. I'll answer them. Matt says, flex 1 PPR, Mason or Egbuka. It's still Mason for me. I want to save points.
You said always Mason. Are you going to hold to it in PPR?
I am. Even in PPR, it's tough. It's really tough. I like to, in PPR, always start the wide receiver. That's the rule of thumb, right? But not when you're talking about 19 or 21 touches and goal line work.
I would lean Egbuka there, but they're both very attractive starts. The fact that Egbuka is the only show in town right now is very appealing to me.
All right, I got one for you from Elite. What's up, Elite? How you doing? Miles is his name, actually. I still call him Elite. Rob, I can't decide between Hampton or Mason. He's asked me this the last couple of days. I always say Mason. Dave, let's get your take on this one. Full PPR, Hampton or Mason? In half PPR or sorry, full PPR, Mason or Hampton seems like the answer. But
now is this for this just this weekend?
This week, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Hampton there in the full PPR. I think that but they're both very attractive starts, but I would go Hampton there. It's the Giants. It's a game they're sure to win. I like the game script for him.
All right, Jesse White, the Secretary of State right there. Jesse White, who won this trade in my league. One team got Bijan and Terry McLaurin. The other got Chase Brown, DK, and George Pickens. Man, I love getting the best player in the trade, which is clearly Bijan, but you're getting George Pickens and DK and Chase Brown, and you have Terry McLaurin who's hurt, so that makes me lean towards the 3 for 2. I don't like hitting 3 guys. You got Chase Brown, DK, and George Pickens is the better end of the trade for me.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. It's just it kind of. I love the idea of getting Bijan, but Terry McLaurin's uncertain health is just so gross. I don't love anyone in that trade on the other side, Brown, DK, or Pickens, but I love them all a lot more than McLaurin.
Elite says, have you done any trades this year, Rob? Yeah, I'll actually give this to Dave. So it's just like the Mortos setup, but it's 12 teams in XFL. I have Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor as 2 running backs, 3 receivers, no flex, half PPR with bonuses. I traded Mason and Egbuka, and I got Malik Neighbors. Thoughts on the trade, Dave? I had no point because I couldn't bench Henry, so it's like I have Mason on my bench, and I'm setting high in Egbuka to get Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, I think it's a good trade. Plus, if you take that extra roster spot and fill it with some lottery ticket running back, I think you're cooking with gas. I'm sure that's what you did, or however you spent that extra roster spot is important.
I got Brian Robinson. I also got Brian Robinson Jr. in that trade.
Well, then there it is. There's one of the highest handcuffs you can get. So I think it's a great trade.
I flipped him for Calvin Ridley. I flipped him for Calvin Ridley and DJ Giddens.
Right.
That's a Dave situation. I just making moves to make moves. And I love that trade for me because if there's a flex spot, I'm never making that trade. I'm starting Mason. But with no flex with Henry, I'm not going to trade Henry because his value is not what it should be right now. And I got the same amount for Henry and Mason. I'm just going to keep Henry because it's Derrick fucking Henry. I don't care what I'm seeing in the last couple of weeks. It's still Derrick Henry. That's a bad business is trading low on Derrick Henry, right?
Yeah. And the Jordan Mason thing, if Jordan Mason is what you want him to be, it's like the Family Guy. It could even be a boat. He could even be Derrick Henry. It's like, well, yeah, Derrick. Yeah. So,
hold on a second. Hold on. I have that in here. God damn it. I got to find it. It's the best. Where is it at? It's a cartoon. I got to find it. I'll take this one in real quick.
Excuse me, sir. This is private property. What are you doing?
Just taking it all in.
You're staring at my daughter's bedroom.
She's really grown into her body. This is going to be a fun summer for her.
Here it is. I got it.
You have a choice. You can have the boat or the mystery box.
Are you crazy? We'll take the boat.
No, not so fast, Lois. A boat's a boat, but the mystery box could be anything. It could even be a boat. You know how much we've wanted one of those?
I got it all at my fingertips, baby. Carlos says Jordan Mason and Brian Thomas for Bucky Irving. Who wins the trade? Mason and Thomas wins that trade by a mile.
Man.
Dude, I love Bucky, but Jesus, dude, you're getting a free Brian Thomas? I don't care how much we hate Brian Thomas. He's still a wide receiver too, Dave. Come on. Let's not overthink these things.
And I see what you're saying, but yeah, Bucky's the best player in the deal, and I think Brian Thomas, I don't know, man. That's got some stink on it, dude.
So Brian Thomas just sucks. He's droppable in your mind? Is he a wide receiver 3?
Well, Mac Jones, he hasn't done anything, man.
Bro, this is exactly what I said preseason. My hot take was Brian Thomas finishes outside the top 18, which was hot because Brian Thomas is going wide receiver 8 or wide receiver 9. I didn't think it was that hot because I had him ranked at wide receiver 16. I have 0 shares. And why am I the Brian Thomas defender now? The guy that hated him all pre-draft process in terms of fantasy draft. I don't overreact as much in 3 weeks as the rest of the community, maybe. Hence why I told everyone to keep on starting Mark Andrews. You know what I mean? It's 3 weeks. What's he do? He's played bad. Trevor Lawrence has played bad. It's been a bad situation. It's not going to continue. It's not going to continue. It's going to be better.
Pretty plugged into the Jags. It looks ugly. I hope you're right. I do.
Jesse says, brother, how many beers did it take you to get your nips pierced? They're actually not pierced, but I said if you want to ask me if they're pierced. And I would get them. How many beers would it take for me to get my nipples pierced? I mean, I've had like 28 or 30 beers before, so probably like 32. And maybe, I don't know. I guess I'd have to try it out. So maybe one of these streams I'll try it out and pierce my own nipples on screen. Silver Rapture, Purdy, Stafford, or Goff, 6 point for passing touchdown. Maybe Stafford, bro. What do you think about Stafford against the Colts?
Yeah, I like it. I think I like Purdy the best. I like them all for different reasons, but Goff against Cleveland, I think we can eliminate him even though he's at home.
Eliminate him.
Purdy is I really just like Brock Purdy, man. I somehow Stafford just seems to prop everybody else up, but not himself. It's
Correct.
so weird.
Sahil says Chuba or Jalen Warren. As much as I hate Jalen Warren, it's Jalen Warren for me. What do you got, Dave?
Who's Carolina against? I know Warren's against the Vikes, but
Carolina has. Hold on a second.
Roger,
She knows off the top of my head, but
mostly I do.
You know, same, bro. Let's see. Carolina has Patriots at the Patriots.
Yeah, I would go Chuba there.
Really? It was concerning that Rico Dowdle got some goal line work, and they actually took Chuba off the field in that second down. Remember, he got one carry. Rico got him down there. Chuba came in for a play, and they put Rico back on the field to get that touchdown. Concerning, bro. Concerning. Until I see Caleb Johnson play, it's going to be Jalen Warren over Chuba for me, unless it's like half, and half unless it's standard half or full PPR. I'm going Jalen Warren. How low rated of a wide receiver running back would you ship Rice to get points? My flex is tootin'. Ooh. So he's saying, if he wants to trade Rice, what should he look for? Man, I think Rashee Rice right now, if we were redrafting and you have, 3 weeks until he comes back, he was a 7th-round pick. Week 1, we knew he was out 6 weeks. Now he's out 3 weeks. I think he goes to about a 3rd-round value, right, with what we've seen?
Yeah, in my mind, I'm thinking 3-4, and so I would right in step with you. I personally would be taking him in the 3rd because I believe in him. So I think, who to target with
Alvin Kamara.
That class of guy, I think I would rather have Scatterboo keeps coming up in my head as RB22. Yeah. I feel like he's gonna stick. But he's too hot because he just got the job. So it's got to be Kamara is good because he hasn't really been running hot, and he's somebody that you could acquire. He's actually someone that you could acquire. But I think you maybe could aim a little higher than that. Right?
Trey Benson, maybe.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Someone
that realm, RB18.
There's a lot of people that fell into a Trey Benson, so they can do it.
Speaking of Judkins, Matt asked, do you think is there a chance? What do you think the chances are Judkins still gets suspended this season? I think it's 50-50. What do you say, Dave?
Yeah, 50-50. It's just I'm not hearing anything about it, which is
it's also the NFL. So what would you bank it on? 3 games, 4 games, 5 games, 6 games. It won't be more than 6. It won't be less than 3.
2 or 3 is what I've been hearing, but I've been hearing a lot of 2.
That's not much. Silver says PPR start 2. Tyreek, DK, and Debo.
Debo goes in for me. Debo's on my first input. And then I would go,
DK's got that fucking foreign game, man. We don't like that.
No, we don't. But then Tyreek has his own problems.
Tyreek has his own problems, his actual own problems too. So,
yeah. I'd probably go Debo and DK.
Same. Don Bond, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you in here. I'm starting Mooney over Diggs this week. That's probably fair. I will say I looked at Diggs' snap share, and the percentage isn't as telling as the number because I think they're going on number of snaps, not percentage, because they've ran more plays every week. So his percentage seems to stay the same at 48%, but he has ran, it was 30 snaps and 37 snaps and 42 snaps. So his snaps have increased every week. So that is encouraging. And maybe one more week of Mooney over Diggs. I'm just the thing with Penix is rough. So who are you starting there, Dave? Diggs or Mooney?
Yeah, I would go Mooney, but it is interesting, and not for this week. I don't think it's the time, but I actually had only been hearing percentages myself. So hearing the actual
the
count,
percentages is the same, but they've actually ran more plays the last 2 weeks than they did week 1. So like he's actually increased his snap number, but the percentage has like barely increased.
Yeah.
That's called reading beyond the box score, David.
Didn't realize that. Didn't know you could do that.
Well, you got to look at both. It says a snap total and it says a snap share. And you obviously have no stuff on Diggs, is why you don't have an intimate knowledge of that. I actually only have 1 share of Diggs, but I look at all these things because I'm a nerd. You know, I don't, instead of watching porn to masturbate, I look at snap shares. I'm just sitting there like, my wife walks in on me and she expects to see some like interracial gangbang. And it's actually, nope, it's just me looking at snap shares, baby. All right, moving on. Flex 1, Swift, JMO, Christian Kirk. Again, you're never getting this take anywhere else. Subscribe to the channel. There's 39 people in here. I've only got 6 subs since this video started. Come on, else. Flex 1, Swift, JMO, Kirk, Keon Coleman, full PPR. David. That's a tough one. Is it Swift?
Yeah, it is.
It can't be Coleman. It can't be Coleman.
It cannot be Coleman. It's PPR, and they're not going to need to throw against New Orleans. He might score an early one, but no. Yeah, man. JMO would have upside if I don't like the Cleveland thing, so I end up going back to Swift if he plays, if he's healthy, which I'm hearing he's going to play.
I think it's Swift or JMO. It's one of those two. Depends on your risk profile, right? If you need a big game, it's JMO. If you need some safety, it's Swift. Lead says, Rob, should I drop Tajay Spears for Ayuk? No, they just had a report coming out. Ayuk's nowhere close to returning. I don't know if you saw that, Dave.
Yes.
That's not good. So Dave sees everything. He's like, what's the eye? What's the Lord of the Rings thing? The eye that sees everything, you know? That's
one of the
Dave.
movies I've never seen. I've never seen a Lord of the Rings movie.
Oh, you don't get the reference. Oh, damn.
But I refer to myself as the Oracle sometimes, so maybe that's the
Matrix. Yeah.
Proper.
Blake says Devontae and Pitts for Drake London. Yes, do that all day. All day, baby. Devonta Smith and Pitts for London. You do that.
Easy.
Nick says, what wide receiver should I target for Juwan Jennings? Oh, he's got Lamb out. Jennings is hurt. I mean, you're not going to get much. Maybe, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Dave, help me out with this one. Juwan Jennings, high upside.
He's trying to trade off Jennings.
Yeah. Matthew Golden.
Yeah, that comes to mind, but I don't think that would even get done.
I would trade him for that, yeah.
I would. I don't know that the Golden owner would do that. I would just sit on Juwan and just see if he'll, because he's still questionable. He might play. Purdy's back, so I honestly would rather just sit on that.
Brendan asked, when will Barkley start actually going off like last year? Well, he's not going to go off like last year because that was just never going to happen again. He looks slower. It's a lot of touches, bro. He's going to be fine for fantasy. He's a buy low for me, but he won't go off like last year. He will still be a top 5 running back, though. Do you agree, Dave?
Yeah, it's funny. He is playing like last year. I was all in on Derrick Henry, and I was right. I was all over that, but I was off Saquon. So I was really right on one veteran and really wrong on another veteran. What's funny this year is he's actually playing these box scores. Everything is looking like I expected last year when I was wrong, where it's like we're not getting the long runs, and Jalen Hurts has scored at least one rushing touchdown in every single game. So like the fear was he's going to lose the goal line work. And then if you take away the efficiency, yeah, he's more in that RB 5-6 realm right now. So yeah, man, I don't think he is going to go off like he did last year. Last year was very special. Just be glad if you were a part of it. Just be glad that you were. But I think he's better than Josh Jacobs, but not as good as Bijan in this environment.
King asks, how do we feel about Drake London going forward? Are you panicked? Are you still at where you drafted him? Will he come back to that, or is it going to be a depreciated asset in terms of you're taking an L for the season long?
He's a 2 now. I would say that the L on Brian Thomas Jr. is bigger than the L on Drake London. So, and they were both drafted right fucking next to each other. So it could be either one, whatever your poison. And it was a poison thus far. Drake London, man, like he's just 2, but I still love the volume. And I think he's a good, like the catch rates there. He's a good player. If they start using him out of the slot more, which they're not, and they did last year, that's going to elevate his play. So yeah, easier for me on London than some of these other, guys like Brian Thomas. I do have some optimism, but he will not be a 1 or a back end 1. It just won't happen.
See, I'm not worried about. No, he will be. I was not worried about Drake London at all. I was watching Matt Harmon, who's one of the guys I will advocate for all of you guys to watch. He is the one guy. It's like church to me. That guy is, and he's the perception guy, so he knows a lot about receivers. But he's so tuned in. I love that guy. What a good dude, by the way. He's a G. And he was saying how the Falcons are the most predictable offense in the league this year, in terms of the formations they're running, in terms of like the fact that when they run the ball, it's predictive. They're running the ball 70% of the time out of pistol. They're running the ball like 90% of the time under center. And when they're in shotgun, they're throwing the ball like 90% of the time. So that is, like, you can't be predictable in the NFL. And they are being predictable, and that's hurt. And Drake London had a shoulder injury. Like, Penix has been bad. There's a lot of variables moving here. But the predictability on top of what we just talked about with the issues with his shoulder and Penix being bad, that's Drake London's problem right now. And on top of it, they're not using him in the slot enough. And he's not running dig routes anymore. He ran, I think, the highest percentage of dig routes that Matt Harmon ever charted last year. And that's his best route. So like, they're just not putting him in the right position. There's just so many things right now that I think they're going to change. I don't know if it's happening week 4, week 5, week 6, but it will change. That's why I'm not worried about Drake London, because I love the talents, and they do have a great backup in Kirk Cousins, like for a backup. Mad Capper says, should Bowers be worried about Trey Tucker taking his targets? No. Brock Bowers, I'm not worried about Brock Bowers at all. He's not going to be worth where you drafted him, but at this point you already drafted him, so he's fine, right?
Yeah. I'm with you.
We got Brick in here. We got Brick, Kyron, Kittle, and Myers for Odunze, Bucky, and Kincaid. So it's Kyron. Let's just go east side. Kyron, Kittle, and Myers. Odunze, Bucky, and Kincaid. Man, I think I like Odunze, Bucky, and Kincaid. It's so tough because I'm not really that Odunze guy. But you're getting Bucky, who is clearing away better than Kyron. Odunze is clearing away better than Myers, and then Kittle is better than Kincaid, but still out for 2 more weeks. Pretty even, or what?
It's pretty even. I'm on the Odunze side for sure.
It's because you love Bucky, dude.
I do love Bucky. I do. Odunze though is like potential. I mean, he's top 12 the rest of the season, most likely. I mean, I'd rather have Odunze than Drake London, going back to the last question. And remember, I hate the Bears and everything about Caleb Williams and this whole thing that they're trying to do. I just am one of the haters. But I look at Rome Odunze and just the opportunity and the production, and I would take Odunze over Drake London and Brian Thomas for the rest of the season. I don't think that's a hot take. I think that's anywhere you'd look, I think you'd find that.
DJ Moore still out in the field, bro.
Yeah, in the backfield.
Yeah, nice. I hate you. What up, Silent? How you doing, bro? Welcome. Well, we got a troll in here. I always click on the trolls comments. I'm a shareholder of your mother. Hey, man, she's 67. David knows her mother. She's a nice lady. If you want to fuck her, just go try. Good for you. Like, that's not actually a good take, because like, gross. But I'm happy for you, man. I'm a shareholder of your father. He's got a tight ass. Steve Casey in here. What's up, man? Hey, y'all. Much love. Steve Casey's the dude. Nicest guy I've ever met. Never met him in person. We're trying to schedule a meet and greet, which might be a Grinder liaison, but we'll see about that one. Silent says, my wide receivers are London, BTJ, Ricky. Am I cooked? No, you're fine. Those guys are all, they look bad. It's been bad so far. They're going to pop this week, and you're going to win by 40 fucking points, brother. Dave, what do you think?
Yeah, I like Pearsall a lot. I like London just fine. It's, you know how I'm at with Brian Thomas. It's just, we're cooked on that. But hey, we'll see.
Oh, we'll see. CK, what's up, CK? Myers or Wilson in standard? It's Wilson, even though he's not a standard guy, but it's Wilson. It's just Brock Bowers week, right?
Yes, it is. I believe it is.
We got Ben Levelstein in the chat. How you doing, Benny? Richie Rich, good movie. That's Macaulay Culkin, I believe. Half PPR. Need to go a wide receiver 2 to go with Higgins, Zay Flowers, and Pittman, or Thornton. So need a wide receiver 2. So it's Higgins. It's Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers.
It is Zay Flowers.
J Bob says Olave worth a roster spot. Yes, he has the second most targets in the NFL this year. No touchdowns, but like that volume is just unbelievable. Until he gets concussed, it's not going to change, right?
Yeah, if it's a full PPR, then he's awesome.
He's a must start. Yeah, must start. Leafy Green, should I go with George Pickens or DeAndre Swift? I think we both agreed it was George Pickens, right?
Yep.
Dust says, in full PPR, would you trade Travis Etienne and T. Higgins for Travion Henderson and Michael Pittman? Ooh, I mean, near term Etienne over Henderson, but long term Henderson over Etienne, and then Higgins and Pittman are a wash for me. I know you probably want Pittman over Higgins. I'm not going that far, bro.
Yeah, but it's close. I mean, they're close. They're very similar. I would take Pittman over T. Higgins, to be honest with you.
Okay. I know you hate T. Higgins. You're off that offense so hard.
We'll see how it
the
plays
time
out.
to trade on the Bengals, though, is after this week is the time to trade for the Bengals because they have the Broncos this week, and that'll be 2 shitters in a row. They're probably going to have. They'll be fine. They'll be 2-2. Brownie, or they'll be 2 and it'll be 2 and 2 after this week.
They got Green Bay in here too.
God damn you with your fucking goddamn numbers in your head. I hate you. TB streams. Who won this trade? Scat and Nico for AJ Brown and Chuba. Scat and Nico won that trade.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I like Scat.
Jackson. Yeah, we all love this. I'm a Scat man. Jackson, when will people start respecting Quentin Johnson and rank him top 20 every week? After this week. If he does it this week, he will be respected. If he doesn't, then he'll go back to being a streamable wide receiver 3. Dave, do you trust Quentin Johnson?
I feel the exact same as you. I mean, I have a little bit of a bias because I know that I'm going up against Quentin Johnson, and I could just feel it. I can feel it. It's going to happen again. But I think the point you make is great. I mean, 4 times. If he's good 4 times, like this quarter season, it's like, all right, man. Like this isn't just a little heater. He is a first-round pick. He's playing with confidence. Might be the real deal. At least with
the funny thing. We were talking about Marvin Harrison earlier, the whole thing we did on Marvin Harrison. The confidence was the issue right now with Marvin Harrison. He clearly doesn't have it. And Quentin Johnson didn't have it coming out. And then now you see what Quentin Johnson's doing with confidence. And I don't care what Quentin Johnson might be a better athlete than Marvin Harrison, but like in terms of a player profile coming out of college, it wasn't close. Like Marvin Harrison, they were wrong about him. We can all agree we were wrong about saying he's generational, can't miss, but still a much better player than Quentin Johnson. And I'll give you one more Marvin Harrison stat that I thought's wild. This isn't even really a stat. Everyone can look this up. 10 touchdowns in 20 career games. Like, as bad as it's been, he is still averaging a half touchdown a game, which should say something about Marvin Harrison's talent, right? With all the bullshit, all the drops, all the lollygagging, all the, the drama, he still has a half touchdown a game, which is in elite company, correct?
It is. I wonder where Johnson would fall on that because I feel like he's a spike touchdown guy himself, but he
had 8 last year, yeah.
Yeah, the confidence is like 3-pronged too. It's like confidence in self, doesn't have it. Confidence in his quarterback with Kyler Murray, doesn't have it. Confidence in his coach, guys. We don't have confidence in him. And then you go to you have confidence in Justin Herbert and Harbaugh, and yeah, I mean you have confidence in all of them.
Right. Hey, culture matters, baby. TB, need a good backup from quarterback from waivers. Fields and Dart. It's Fields for sure, and I like Dart in I like starting Fields this week against the Dolphins. He's going to pop off, but it's Fields, right, Dave?
It's definitely Fields. It's just that uncomfortable Monday night scenario with the concussion protocol. So you got to stay glued. It's a more stressful start, but it's the best start. So just be ready to pivot to Tyrod Taylor if it's doomsday. But I mean, I think he'll play, right. And that's the only reason why I flag it in my mind. But it's a great matchup with Miami.
Yeah. King Crazy Cyborg, how you doing, man? Make sure you grease those joints. If you could do something like Kamara and London for Neighbors and Benson, we'll be doing that. As much as I love London, I like Neighbors and Benson because I think Benson, I'd rather have Kamara in the short term. Long term, I want Benson. It's close. And then I want Neighbors over London.
Yeah, you could argue that the Neighbors side, both players are better. You could argue that. You sure as hell can't argue it the other way. So Neighbors is the best player in the trade, and it's possible Benson is better than Kamara.
This is some deep cuts here from Suave. Which deep upside handcuff stash do you want? Kendra Miller, Rashard Smith, Ollie Gordon, DJ Giddens, Sean Tucker, Emmanuel Wilson. I think it's in terms of stash, it's DJ Giddens number 1, and then Ollie Gordon is number 2, and then the rest are just dudes. So it's those two are tied. If you need a guy you could play a little bit week to week on a pinch in a deep league, it's Ollie Gordon. In terms of injury upside, it's DJ Giddens. Dave, do you agree?
Yeah, I'm just a little concerned. What's the dude's name? That's the other dude on the Colts who's escaping me now. He
It's not Khalil Herbert anymore. Is it
No.
the guy that was on the Eagles?
No, God, he screwed up.
I'm not worried about him.
He's either way. It's not a clear-cut backup situation. Whereas Ollie Gordon one, I think is. I think I would lean Ollie Gordon in that one. Sean Tucker's a name to know, though. Because really,
yeah.
Sean Tucker had the most fantasy points in a single game of any Buccaneers running back last year. So everyone's all about Bucky and Rashad. It's like when that dude came in, he boomed bigger than either of the other two.
Yeah, he's an actual like early down grinder, which no one else on that team is. Michael says start Debo or Michael Pittman. It's Debo, right? We're going Debo because of the McLaurin injury.
Yeah, it's close because of the Jay Daniels being out, but I am going to stick with my boy Debo.
Professor says, "Let's go Blue Jays." We have some baseball in the chat. I get down with that. I don't root against Canadian teams. We got Chase in here. How you doing? Haven't seen you in a while, Chase. Welcome back to the stream. Miss you, bro. Suave again. Also, defensive team. Who do you like more? New England at home against Carolina, Atlanta at home against Washington with Mariota. It's probably New England, man. Just because Atlanta's got a couple injuries in their front four on defense, and they just looked like lifeless last week. So it's really close. I think I'm leaning New England. What do you got, Dave?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And Mariota's a good player. I mean, so it's not a guy. It's not a guy you like target. He's not going to turn the. I know he fumbled once, but he's not going to turn the ball over. And he's a good, smart player. So,
did you hear the stat I read yesterday about Mariota?
Is it about how many top 10 he had?
He's in top 12. So he's been in top 12, right? He's been a quarterback one, Mariota 3 times in the last 20 games. And that he's only started 1 game, and he came in relief in the first quarter and gotten it. And CJ Stroud has had 1 top 12 finish the last 20 games.
Yes, I've heard
and
that.
Played every game. Wild, bro. That's a CJ Stroud, like, just nailing the coffin, right? For CJ Stroud for fantasy. He's done.
It is. And what's funny, I actually last Sunday, again, I'm in 1 league, so it means everything. Last week, I found myself in a situation, 10-team league, no buys, only 1 QB. I started Mariota last week.
He was fine. Yeah, you never start CJ Stroud. He's always available.
Yeah.
Breece Hall or Judkins this week? Breece Hall or Judkins, Dave?
Breece Hall.
Let's assume it's half PPR. Half PPR.
It's Miami and Judkins is going to have a terrible game script. We haven't seen what it's like when they're getting their ass kicked. Terrible game script against the Lions. Terrible.
J-Bob, it's Olave over Quentin Johnson. Like, you're literally getting 11 targets a game from Olave. So I don't care what the format. 11 targets is 11. He's getting like running back workload as a wide receiver. Suave says, someone dropped Golden in my 2 flex 12-team league. How much fab do you think I should drop? I'm going to leave that for Dave because he's the Golden guy, and I will react to that afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, man. Like, I don't think he's going to win your league, but he'll definitely be. I mean, I'm in the 30 to 40 range here. What do you think?
Yeah, I prefer saving my fab for like league winning upside running backs, depending on what kind of like free agents are available, how deep the league is. I'd say 25%. Depending on your team as well. Redux says, is Ridley is startable this week over Wandale and Shakir? Definitely over Wandale and probably over Shakir. Shakir needs a touchdown to make his week in that game script. He's not getting the targets, not getting the snaps, or not throwing the ball. Right. So it's still Ridley. It sucks. It's gross. It's terrible. It's like, do I fuck a hooker? Do I fuck a really fat chick at a bar? Well, you don't got to pay the really fat chick, but the hooker is gross. So like, it depends. It's your flavor, right? What would you want? A hooker or a fat chick at a bar, Dave? if you were not married.
Well, I'll take the Ridley. Whatever the translation to Ridley is.
The translation to Ridley is probably the fat chick at the bar you don't have to pay.
Okay. Now remember,
it smells nice.
In situations such as these, I like to go and grab me a Romeo Dobbs. So take a look. It's Dallas, baby. Take a look.
Damn straight. Start all your guys against the Cowboys. Ryan, what's going on, Ryan? I bet you like that last joke because that's who Ryan is. He's a great dude. 10-man full PPR, 2 wide receivers and 1 flex. Who you starting? Debo, Moore, Montgomery, Tillman, Addison, Shepard, Isle Manor. 2 wide receivers and 1 flex. So the wide receivers would be Debo and then Moore, and then probably Montgomery. That's the only option there. Oh, you don't have to start a running back. I think it's those 3, right? First 3.
Yes.
You can't start Addison. You can't start Shepard.
Yeah,
if Godwin's inactive, right? If Godwin's inactive, it's Shepard.
Yeah, the next one in for me is Shepard. Like, let's say this guy had an aversion to one of those first 3 guys. Like, Shepard is 4th on this list. And I know it sounds gross, but It's not like they're going to be in a positive game script against Philadelphia in all likelihood. So they will have to throw.
All right, I got to grab a beer. Dave, you answer this question while I grab one. What is your prediction of the Bears versus Raiders score? Raiders look like a train wreck. So much to fix. Bears seem to have figured out the passing game. Well, again, that was one game against the Cowboys. Dave, what's your prediction? Give me a little game insight while I grab a beer. Thank you.
Yeah. I think with this, the Bears passing game, I think you may have seen the best of it. At least that's the case. That was the case when Russell Wilson faced the Cowboys. He threw for 450. And so that kind of takes away the validity of what Caleb did the following week. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. I think the fact that it's in a dome against the Raiders, I do think that it will be. I think it's the second or third highest over under the week. It was checked in at like 47.5 last I saw. I expect some offense. Geno is the top 3 in passing yards. So I think the whole thing could just be inflated passing yards. You could see 600 passing yards in this game between the two quarterbacks. I mean, really, you could. Who's going to win? I think the Bears, man. And it's not, I don't like the Bears, but they just seem to figure something out. I think you're right on that.
Corey, that is the Patrick Willis jersey back there, donated from my my old partner Nick O, who will be back on the show at some point. Big Niners fan, love that one. Dust Clannon says, between Michael Pittman, Travion Henderson, DK Metcalf, and Trey Tucker, which 3 would you suggest starting? Not Trey Tucker. So I would say Henderson, DK, and Pittman for sure. No, just not Trey Tucker is the answer for me. Yeah. Regardless of what Dave just said about that game, it's not Trey Tucker.
I agree with that, though. I agree with that completely.
Thank you. Jackson, 0-3. Would you trade Josh Allen, 12-teamer? No. He's your best player. Don't do it.
No. I got a couple more, bro.
Yeah. Io Manor or Shaheed at flex? Who you going with?
Oh, man. Io Manor. How about you?
Really? Okay. I'm going Shaheed still. He's the number 2 there, and I like the offense better. I feel you. Chandler, trade CMC and Kelsey for Bucky and McBride. Yes. Kelsey's a nothing.
Yeah.
You love Bucky. CMC is the best player in the trade, but you're getting a free McBride. So thoughts on Woody Marks from old school football plays? Good stash, right?
The thing with Woody Marks is I heard an expression this offseason. I don't remember who said it, but I love it. If I'm right, what do I win? Or if I win, what do I win? Both of those sayings. I mean, right. If you have him and he becomes a starter, what do you win? I mean,
not much. You get a running back 2, maybe?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it depends on league size, but he's not someone I'd be excited. I'd rather have Ray Davis than him.
All right, real quick, Dave's got to take off. I got to ask Dave a couple questions before he takes off. I will get to all your questions, so bear with me. I am about 10 minutes behind the chat. I will get to all of them in a more timely manner because it's just me. Dave, I'm going to put my prop bets up for the week, and you can evaluate those for me. But a question for you before I put them up there that I made a weird bet that I usually only do overs. I did an under for a player prop. Jackson Dart starting this week. What do you think his rushing prop was started at? What do you think it's at? Rushing prop over under yards, Jackson Dart against the Chargers.
27.5.
That's what you think it should be at? That's what it's at? What do you think?
I think that's what it opened. I think that's what it opened at.
See, I saw he was starting, and I was like, I want to bet the over on that because he's mobile. They only use him in the RPO action, et cetera, et cetera. And I thought it'd be at 18.5, right? I was like, I'm going to bet that over. 34.5. Is that not crazy high, or am I just on crack?
That's a lot, bro. It's a lot.
Would you bet the over-under on that? Over-under on that?
I would bet the over, but I don't love it if I had to choose.
That's a lot. Dude, that's almost Lamar Jackson territory, dude. What are we doing?
I wouldn't be. That's not a line I'd be targeting. That's not a prop I'd be.
Not the under. That's a high number, bro.
But just one run can take it away.
Maybe that, but every quarterback has that for their prop, and we don't just bet every over in quarterback props because obviously Vegas sets it for a reason, right? I'm a little scared because how high it is. Okay, the other two I'm going to give you, and then I'll give you my bets. Brock Bowers this week. What do you think it should be at against the Bears without Michael Mayer, mind you?
How many yards?
Yeah.
Over under, I'll say 71.
What'd you say?
71.
Oh, wow. Okay, Keon Coleman against the Saints. What should that be at? What do you think they should set it at?
31.
Oh, whoa, that's really low. All right, I'm going to put up the bets here. Here they are. So Dart under 34.5. Coleman's 37.5. That's now gone up to 39.5. Brock Bowers 52.5, baby. That's my bet of the week.
Oh, yeah.
That's a smash. And yeah, Coleman, like 31.5 is too low. 37.5 is pretty low, though. But I get like the game script and all those concerns. But, you know, they're still going to have the first half to throw the ball. And I think at first half, he can get 38 yards. That's
Yeah.
my thing.
He could.
So, yeah, the Jackson Dart one was just a conundrum because I went into it saying I'm going to bet the over. And I thought I'd be like mid to high teens, maybe low 20s. And I saw 34. And I was like, well, I could just stay away, which I probably should have done. But that's not the way I gamble. When I see something egregious, and like maybe my process was off, that's why I wanted to ask you. And everyone, like most people in the chat were thinking that like I'm wrong for doing that because 34.5, that's just high, bro. That's like Jaden Daniels is at like 42 weekly. Justin Fields is at like 44 weekly. Like he is not those guys, dude. Not at all.
No.
So, and we'll see. I mean, we'll see. All right, buddy. Appreciate your time. Give this man a round of applause 2 times this week. He is the GOAT. He is the legend. One of my favorite guests to have on here. I don't want to, piss anyone off, but wink, wink. You're my dude, man. So I appreciate you and the insights next level. Good luck this week in fantasy. Hopefully we see you next week. Anything to say to the fans, the crowd, myself, anything?
Good luck this week. Make trades. Have fun. Always be trading, man.
Love it. All right, David. I'll talk to you later. I'm going to get to these chats here. We got King Crazy Cyborg. Sorry to spam questions. No worry, bro. I have Jordan Mason. A league mate offered me Adams for him 1-to-1. Do I make it? Keep Jordan Mason. Keep Jordan Mason. Dave agrees. Keep Jordan Mason. Matthew says I traded Calvin Austin for Olave. Is that tough? You want Olave over Calvin Austin. Calvin Austin's is nothing. Bad pass offense. Chandler, start Purdy, Geno, Stroud, Mariota, Tua. Purdy. I'd say Purdy or Geno in a 6 for a passing touchdown. If it's a 4 for a passing touchdown, I could see starting Mariota, but it's 6 for a passing touchdown. Trade Devontae Smith plus DJ Moore for Devontae Adams. Nope, too much for Devontae Adams, man. Like I'm still not bailing on Devontae Smith. DJ Moore was still drafted ahead of a Dunze. Yes, a Dunze is probably more valuable. DJ Moore is still a stud. Dubs mocking me. Yeah. I drafted a heavier set girl once. It actually wasn't that bad. Yeah, I mean, they're really nice. They're nice people, and they're sweethearts, and sometimes it's fun. They do a lot of stuff. Raptors, 12-team Superflex, Baker, Gibbs, Ollie Gordon, Higgins. That's a lot of names. Any tips to get a better RB2? You have Gibbs, Ollie Gordon. No, man. I think you could trade you try to trade Charbonnet right now because he's got some good numbers when he plays. So I think Charbonnet and Jacoby Myers, pair of those two, try to increase there. Geno Smith or Dak, dude, it's probably Geno Smith. As crazy as it sounds, Dak's gonna have a lot of pass attempts. Tough matchup. I'm going Geno Smith. It's hard to do, but I do it. If Mark does take over that spot, do you think he's valuable? Yeah, he is because Woody Marks is a pass catcher. That's why he's valuable. Old school. He's gonna get 3-4 catches a game. So Pat says, is Ingram dead? Yes, he is dead. He's playing this week. I love Okonkwo. It's so tough for me to say Ingram over Okonkwo because I love Okonkwo, but I think I would probably give it one more week for Ingram, and I think Chig will still be there on the wire. But that's like really close now. Brandon says start 2, Brian Thomas, Judkins, DJ Moore, full PPR. It is Brian Thomas and Judkins, probably. Although I was still defending DJ Moore. It's close. Judkins is a tough matchup. In full PPR, I could see going the 2 receivers. Actually, I would say go the 2 receivers. Joe No Ball, how you doing? Out of every guy on the waiver wire, who do you think will eventually win leagues and take over? Man, it depends on the waiver wire. That's just such a deep question, and I'll get back to you when I think of it because I'm trying to get through these questions. But that is a really good one. Anyone in the comment section wants to have some names, toss them out of me, and I'll give you my review on those names. Dubs, Higgins, Mooney at flex. Got Waddle and Quentin Johnson at wide receiver. It's probably Dubs. No, I'm still going T. Higgins, man. I don't care if it's a tough matchup. His prop this week is 50 yards. against Denver. Dubs props like 43. So if you have an issue, always look at Vegas. Look what Vegas has. And who has the highest catches, yardage, touchdown number? It's Higgins. Going Higgins. AJ, trade Tucker and DJ Moore for Olave. Yes, I'm doing that. If it's full PPR, I'm doing that because Trey Tucker is a nothing to me season long. Baker or Williams, it's Caleb. Caleb for sure. Baker's beat up. The offensive line's beat up. You got a missing stud wide receiver. You got Chris Godwin coming back from injury. Like Mike Evans is out 4 weeks. I give me Caleb. Do you think Jalen Coker will immediately be the clear wide receiver too? Yeah, he will because as much as I was a big Xavier Legette guy, Xavier Legette's terrible. He's done. Hunter Renfrow is just a placeholder. Jalen Coker's a good player, and he is not just a slot receiver. He plays a slot. Jalen Coker's a dude. So I love Jalen Coker as a stash right now. Purdy or Goff at quarterback this week, it's Purdy, man. I don't care about the injury. Goff has one of the hardest matchups in football right now. You saw what happened. You literally saw Green Bay lose a fucking game to Cleveland by scoring, 10 points, 13 points? Not to mention all the rushing touchdowns they have there in Detroit. So it is Purdy for me. Chargers D is going to have a dart seeing ghost. Yeah, and that's why the rushing number is probably so high, G. Allen. I just see a rushing number that high, 34.5. I bet the under. Do anything with Higgins fake. You can't. You got to just play him, bench him, hold him. You can't trade him because you're not going to get shit for it. Chandler says trade CMC, Kelsey, and Bucky for and McBride. Trade CMC, Kelsey for Bucky and McBride. Yeah, you want Bucky and McBride. Sorry, missed your comment earlier. Bucky and McBride for sure. Let's see. Someone dropped Golden in my 2-flex 12-team league. How much fab? I think we answered that one. I think 30% is fair. Rattler or Browning, since Jaden Daniels didn't want to put muscle. Yeah, right. He didn't want to put muscle on. Dude, it's probably I'm going to go Browning. Better weapons. They both have tough matchups. Denver's a tough matchup. Bills are a tough matchup. Give me Browning in a most likely a lot of passing attempts with good pass catchers. Brandon, I had a feeling I should start them, and you validated it. I love you. Oh, no problem, man. I love you too. I wish I could meet you. Any fantasy sleepers you have or buy lows? Buy lows would be Drake London. It's a buy low. Any T. Higgins is still a buy low. Dave hates T. Higgins. You can get T. Higgins for pennies on the dollar right now. It's still a good player. That offense, the defense hasn't gotten any better. They're not going to play the Vikings every week. Browning's fine. What's your fantasy football league record? I'm in 25 leagues, so it's been a bad start. I'm like 2 or 3 games over 500 right now. I had a rough week 3, but I do have Trey Benson scat about everywhere, and I have a lot of Rashee Rice. So I'm not panicking. I have a lot of 3-0 teams. I just have like more 0-3 teams than I'd like to admit. It happens. My wife, on the other hand, has 11 leagues I all drafted. She has like a 70% win percentage. I always draft better teams for her somehow. Maybe it's because I play high money leagues. She plays $100 leagues, and that's why. I don't know. The Smitty start 2 wide receiver, Nico, DK, Jennings, Turpin. Ooh, return yards. Okay, you got to start Turpin. So, man, it's Nico for sure. And I still probably start DK over Turpin. If you want to go Turpin over DK, I don't blame you with the return yards. 1 point for every 10 yard. All right, so it's Nico and Turpin. We're benching DK. We're benching DK there. Straight up 6-point touchdown. Gino or Caleb forced facing each other. I'm probably still going Caleb. He's the number 3 quarterback in fantasy right now. So we got Woody Marks for the league winner. Dang, ready or not, we coming. Michael Tate, how you doing? I dropped Higgins. No one is going to trade for him at this point. Well, you can't drop him though, dude. Who are you picking up? Are you picking up Trey Tucker for Higgins? That's a mistake. You're getting an ancillary weapon on the Raiders, for instance, where you could just have the ancillary weapon on the Bengals. The Bengals won't be this bad. I don't know why everyone's so worried about the Bengals right now. It's not good. You're not going to return value where you drafted these guys. T. Higgins is still a good receiver. He's not going to get any double coverage. Jamar Chase is still there. Like, I guess this week probably won't be good for T. Higgins either. But like season long, I'm trading for T. Higgins whenever I can. Leafy Greens, Bucker. It's not Bucker this week. They're not going to go for field goals, man. They're playing. No one kicks field goals against the Ravens, if you noticed, because they know you have to get touchdowns. So, Fluent Farts. Love the name. I traded Chase for Cooks, Allen, JSN. Traded Jamar Chase, Bo Nix, and Bijan for Cooks, Allen. No, I want Jamar Chase, Nix, and Bijan because you're getting Jamar Chase and Bijan in that trade. That's the winner of the trade. Landon, what can you get for Marvin full PPR? I still wouldn't trade him yet. Honestly, I think better days are ahead. It's not going to be worse. He still has 2 touchdowns this year, but the problem is Marv's value is depreciated because he's looked so bad and it's all been on the spotlight. The numbers haven't actually been that bad. He's had 2 good games, 2 bad games, but it looks worse. So I would not trade him. What's your strategy on drafting? Do you have rookies that you stash who you have high upside? Yeah, I stash handcuff running backs, dude. That's my thing. I draft Benson, Corum, Algier, those guys. Scatabo, I draft those guys. And then I stash, as long as I have good receivers, I only want 1 receiver on the bench, 2 receivers on the bench. I don't like having onesie positions unless there's bye weeks. I like high upside stashes. So Ryan, Tillman, Iomanner, Shepard, Hawkinson, or Addison. Who and how many should I cough up for Williams? Is that Javonte Williams? I'm guessing that's Javonte Williams. I mean, all of them, dude. I don't want any of those. I love Tillman, but if you're talking about Javonte Williams, trade Tillman and trade Hawkinson and trade Addison. I don't care. You're getting a borderline RB1. Start, sit, Danny Dimes or Love. You're starting Love. You're starting Love. Like, that's not even a debate. You start everyone against the Cowboys. Old school, Torrey Horton or Troy Franklin. Troy Franklin is more playable week to week. Torrey Horton is more of an insurance policy for Cooper Kupp when and if he gets injured. And I love Torrey Horton. He's a playmaker. He looks good. But currently, as constructed, the Seahawks have a good defensive team. They run the ball a lot. They're not going to air the ball out. And Torrey Horton's number 3 there. And they like A.J. Barner. They like their tight ends. So, Andrew, you think Marion can be end up a top 8 RB? Probably not with the slow start he had, but going forward, could he be top 8? I would say top 12 is fair. And I'm not the biggest Marion Hampton fan, but you can't debate the volume's going to be there, and the offense is elite, and they're going to run the ball more than they had shown. So, Champagne, should I trade Mike Kamara and Worthy for Amon-Ra? I would do that. I would, especially if it's a 10-teamer. If it's a 12-team that's not super deep, I would do that too. 14-teamer, no, you want the depth. I'm worried about Worthy, man. I don't know how you could not be worried about Worthy. So, yeah, for sure. David Moore played 19%, then 14%, then 97% of the snaps for the Panthers. Worth a shot. 18-man league? Yeah. You just want to have guys that play in 18-man leagues. Give me targets. You said 1 target, whatever. Give me guys that are on the field in an 18-man league. I do like that one a lot. That's wild world of an 18-man league. You think Tootin will eventually get 50-50 split? No, because LaQuint Allen's still there. He's going to get the third downs. But Tootin, eventually it will. Oh, for Caleb, Ryan, probably like Addison and Iomanner maybe, or give up your quarterback you have and just trade Tillman. Tootin will be the dude. It is just a matter of when. At the worst, it will be like a 50-50. At worst, I really big fan of Tootin. Full PPR from Brandon, Devonta Smith or Pearsall. It's Pearsall. Until IU comes back, until Kittle comes back, Pearsall's a must start. Almost. Iomanner is looking like number 1 on that team. Almost, man. I still have faith in Ridley, but Iomanner was a guy I drafted in a few spots, and I grabbed week 1 for sure when I saw a snap share. His play style comps much more to Cam Ward than Ridley. Ridley's an on-time player where it's like it's a timing route, all those kind of things. Iomanner is a go up and get it kind of guy, and Cam Ward's a gunslinger. So that's Iomanner's job in the long term. It might not be this year. It's not going to be in the next couple of weeks, but he's a startable guy now. Ladd, it's 2 Ds with Ladd. Ladd is the ultimate buy low right now. The other guys are eating. He's not eating. He was drafted so high. People are pissed. Buy on Ladd right now. Unfortunately, he's not a touchdown guy, but like he's better than what he's shown. That's for sure. Champagne says Flex Mooney, Shakir, or Iomanner this week. I would probably rank it Shakir, Mooney, Iomanner. No, Shakir, Iomanner, Mooney. I still like the fact that Shakir has a good chance to score a touchdown, and they're going to score 35 points against the Saints. Hopefully, they're not all rushing touchdowns. What's going on with Chase Brown? I mean, the whole Bengals thing, we know what's going on. Their offensive line sucks. Joe Burrow's hurt. Their team has a little bit of morale boost, like the opposite of morale boost. I'm not as worried about those guys. I'm trading for those guys when I can. DeAndre Swift's fine. He is what we thought he was going to be. Not going to score a lot of touchdowns, but had some nice explosive. He had one really good reception last week for like 40 yards. He's fine. He's going to go as the offense goes. It'd be nice to see him get some goal line carries. I don't know about that one. Wally says, my wide receivers are CD, Puka, Wilson, Allen, Addison. So I wasn't upset about letting Higgins go. Yeah, you're fine. Garrett, BTJ, Chase, and Brees way too much for London and St. Brown. Brian Thomas, Chase, and Brees. No, I would probably do that, man. I think London and Chase are pretty close. So essentially, it's Brian Thomas and Brees Hall for St. Brown. So again, the deeper the league, the less likely I am to do a 2 for 3. The shallower the league, the more likely I want the 2 best players or the best player in the trade. I don't like trading Jamar Chase right now, though. So I would try to leave out Brees Hall or something. Do Brian Thomas and Chase for London. See what you can do or trade a bench piece. I wouldn't do Brian Thomas, Chase, and Brees Hall. That's too much. Even though I love London, I love St. Brown. So Rashee Rice will be a buy low. Do you think Pacheco's run game will open up when the Rice comes back? Yeah, Pacheco has to be better. I mean, the problem is you still have other running backs in the mix, and Brashard Smith still hasn't gotten carries or like opportunity, I guess I'd say. So yeah, Pacheco can't be any worse than he is now. It's bad. Cliff says, cheers. Who wins the Super Bowl? I've been saying the Bills since before the year started. I saw the Bills since the last year ended. I'm still going with the Bills. Josh Allen's the best player in football, and I love their coach. And the Ravens would be a close second, but I've just seen too much of the same old Ravens, bro. And Lamar just doesn't come through in the clutch. And I love Lamar, and it's probably going to change, but we've seen Josh Allen play perfect football in the playoffs and lose. Maybe now it's time for Lamar to play a perfect game and lose, which he actually last year kind of did because Mark Andrews. Wesley says drop Dubs or Christian Watson deep bench leagues. Can I start Jay Warren this week? Christian Watson isn't playing till like week 12. So, and it's too crowded there anyway. Jonas Ball, thank you, by the way, for doing this free. I appreciate that. Yeah, man. I'm just trying to build the brand. Eventually, I'll be asking for all your guys' money. So go after yourself. Just kidding. I'm going to try to do this full time. So I have been doing it full time the last 2 months since fantasy started. I have a lot of money in fantasy. I'm just telling you guys what I would do with my money, my $7,000 I have invested. That's my strategy with awesome guests, as you know. 4 years in this channel, we're finally building to someone. I have a sponsorship coming here through soon. I want to name the sponsor because it's nothing in ink yet. In general, I'm going to get a Patreon started. A lot of ways. If you guys do want to help me out, I'd appreciate that. If not, once it grows, it's going to be hard for me to get to everyone's question without super chat. So I do my best to get to everyone's comments, and I will continue to do so. So AJ says, who do you keep, DJ Moore or Ridley? DJ Moore over Ridley for sure. What app do you use for fantasy betting? I use FanDuel, DraftKings, Bet365, MGM. You got to have multiple books to get the best odds, baby. No problem, Brantley. Superflex, Browning, Olave, or Kelsey. I mean, it's a quarterback in Superflex. Even if it's a bad quarterback, depending on the scoring, it's a quarterback. Champagne, am I giving up too much if I try to trade Swift, Ertz, and Shakir for a Marion? Oh, that's so close, man. I might do that, bro. It's a 14-team league, which changes it. But like Zach Ertz, what is that? His numbers are good, but it's still Zach Ertz. He's old. No, I don't want. He's a replaceable tight end. So it's mostly Swift for Shakir and for a Marion. I want to do that. I want a Marion. Chargers are a potential Super Bowl team, man. The coach, I can't deny the coach. I can't deny the quarterback. The defense looks good, and Khalil Mack will be back at some point. So, yeah, Chargers are top 3 in the AFC. Like, they are the 3rd team in the AFC right now. Don't sleep on the Broncos. I think the Broncos will come around at the end of the year. But best IR stash, I mean, probably Tajay Spears right now. In terms of, like, guys that were injured to start the year, Tajay Spears, because Pollard has not really, like, done much to run away with the job. I thought he'd kill it early in the year, and he did not. Hey, thank you, gentlemen. Yeah, subscribe if you could. Doesn't matter, but I'd appreciate it if you did because you're gonna get notifications for when I go live. It's pretty much every night. Ask the dudes in this chat. We're gonna get a lot of good stuff going on here. This is building to something special. It's interactive. The community is great. Besides a couple fucking homo trolls up in here. Not to say anything against that community because I actually love that community. I might be one of them. Just people that like sticking it to me, whatever. They can say, I don't know what I'm talking about. My guests are stupid. Like, my guests are genius. So if they want to say that, that's cool. And they're just trolling for no reason. So that's cool. And I'll give it right back to them. You can't troll a guy that's quick-witted. Who should I play as flex? Full PPR. Montgomery, Williams, Godwin, Coleman, Franklin, Chubb. Ooh, man, that's a tricky situation here. Hold on, let me get this question back up here. Not Franklin, not Godwin. Probably not Chubb. Good matchup for Chubb, though. I'd say Williams or Montgomery. I'd take a Lion there. You don't want. I didn't ask you to marry me, Tyron, but I mean, we could talk something out. Champagne. Should I go out of my way to trade for Godwin before he pops off? put some feelers out there. I wouldn't give too much. We got to see how he looks, right? How much snaps he's going to play. What do you think about Jalen Warren versus the Vikes in Ireland? I don't think he's going to rush for a lot of yards, but it's really hard to pass in that secondary. So Warren should have some nice receiving upside in this matchup. Leafy, I'm a huge Minnesota fan, but how about them Colts? That team has big surprise this year. Yeah, the Colts are for real. I will say one of my like defensive streamers of the week is the Rams defense if they're available. The Colts have had punted the ball one time this year. They have 0 turnovers. We all know the NFL is not like that. It always comes back full circle. We also have Danny Dimes. This could be a old school Danny Dimes game where he has 3 turnovers. You heard it here first. I could be wrong. I'm just not anointing the Colts, and especially Danny Dimes, as like a juggernaut. This is not the greatest show on turf. Okay, it's not. Love Jonathan Taylor. Not. Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate you, man. You got to hold on Aaron Jones, but unfortunately, he definitely is getting Wally pipped right now, and Jordan Mason's just a better player. Aaron Jones will be fine at PPR. He's going to be trying to think, like a worse version of what James White was back in the day with the Pats. But he's still a good player. If anything, the reason you hold on to him is not for like he's maybe a flexible guy when he comes back, but it's for the fact that Jordan Mason gets hurt. Now you have the starting running back in a receiving down back. Upside of 3 down back with Aaron Jones, who's done it before on the Vikings. That's why you hold on to him. Chubb or Pacheco, half PPR. I'm going Chubb. You can't start Pacheco. Not against the Ravens. It's Chubb. Good matchup for Chubb against Titans. I like Judkins, man. I have 0 shares of Judkins, and like I did 400 best balls, dude. I have 25 redraft leagues. My wife has 11. I had 36 shots to draft the fucker. Did not take them. I whiffed on that one, man. It was just so much uncertainty to me, and there still is a little uncertainty with the possible suspension, but I do like Judkins. He looks the part, man. He looks like a monster. It doesn't help or doesn't hurt his case that he have Dylan Sampson, who's a pipsqueak, and Jerome Ford, who just blows. So, like, the combination of, like, seeing him come in the game after those bums really helps the case for Judkins. He looks like a full-grown man, so I'm digging that. And I want to talk to Sampson.
I want to talk to Sampson. Climbing to the moon like that bitch Alice Cram.
I want to talk to Sampson. Lock 365. Hopefully you're not locked up now, but if you are, I don't know, you get some decent food in there. Pearsall or Dubs? Calvin Austin, Josh Downs. I should have played Harrison Jr., but I didn't. Well, Pearsall for sure. I would say Pearsall and Dubs is who you play. That's the thing. Well, at halftime, it didn't look like he should have played Harrison Jr., but yeah, I still played Harrison in most spots. I benched him for like a Olave when I could. I would say Pearsall and Dubs, bro. It says Gay Little Richard. It's Ricard. Gay Little Ricard, Cardi, McManus, Pinheiro, Carlson, Schrader, Elliott. Who do I like this week? Is Will Lutz available? Because I picked up Will Lutz a lot of places. I like that matchup. Probably McManus. I think McManus would be the guy. Or Carlson. McManus or Carlson's at home. That's a good matchup against the Bears at home. Good kicker, too. McManus or Carlson is my answer for those two. I'm pretty fucking salty because I had Myers in like fucking 9 spots last week against the Saints. He scored 18 points, and then I dropped him in all leagues just because I didn't like the matchup Thursday Night Football. Comes out and scores like 15 or 16. And of course, he missed the 150-yarder and then has another chance. It pissed me off. That's called streaming kickers, folks. But you know what? Maybe Will Lutz to score 18. Is Xavier Worthy in a good play this week? It's risky because he's not going to play all the snaps, and he's at a pretty high risk of getting hurt again, like more so than your average player, but he's a fine play this week. I like the matchup against Baltimore. New England's defense, they have a good matchup, I think. They're a bad defense though, bro. Like they are a bad defense. That's the problem, but they have a good matchup. So yeah, they're worth the stream. Thanks, Robbie. I appreciate you. Again, I have nothing in front of me. This is all up here. So sometimes I forget which teams are playing. I should know all those, but like I do, but there's a lot going on with the editing, with the fucking, the comment board. Your knowledge is awesome. Drake May or Jordan Love. It's Jordan Love, man. This is a great matchup for Jordan Love. You can't get any better than playing the Cowboys. So give me Jordan Love, even though his receivers are banged up. I guess my deciding factor would be I could go Drake May if it was a 4-point passing touchdown because Drake May is more likely to have a rushing touchdown. But if it's 6 for a passing touchdown, it's not even close, as Jordan Love. Mark says Nick Chubb or DK Metcalf. What's the scoring on that one, bud? Full PPR DK, standard Nick Chubb. Half PPR DK. Again, give me the scoring on this one, Logan. Mason or Tet? It's Mason either way. Mason's either way for sure. You're not benching Mason. Champagne, do I think Travion Henderson's taking over the Patriots backfield soon? I mean, he should have done it a week ago, but they just came out today with a blurb that they said that Ramondre Stevenson has not lost his job. Now that could be coach speak to try to like throw the team off that it's going to be, if it's going to be Travion Henderson, which again, if you're game planning for the Patriots, like game planning for Travion Henderson as the lead back opposed to Ramondre Stevenson is way different. That might be a smoke screen. So I'm not looking to bet on Travion Henderson this week in terms of gambling. And I'm starting him in a league. I'm trying to think who I'm starting him over. I have a couple Henderson shares. It's not a player like Olave. I think I'm starting him over Shakir. I think the option was for me, Travion Henderson in full PPR or Shakir. I think I'm going Travion Henderson. So that's my line right there. Yeah, dude, the Rams. I know it's not a popular opinion, David. You're not going to hear it a lot of places, but the Rams have an elite defensive line. Here's my thought process on the Rams. If you watch the game against the Eagles, they were up 26-7 against the fucking Eagles. Now, the Eagles and the Colts play pretty similar brand of football, and they just dominated the Eagles. Now, they somehow lost the game, but they lost in bullshit fashion, blocked kick to lose the game for them. They're going to be pissed off. They're at home. Colts are riding a high. Like, all those things just equal, like, even it wasn't for that, I think the Colts are in for like a down game and some turnovers and his Danny Dimes. It just seems like the Rams are going to feast, man. I see the Rams defense being top 5 this week. I know the number, like there's a lot of numbers won't this is a spot for me. This is a spot for me as the Rams defense. And I have them going in like 4 or 5 of my 25 leagues. That when I don't have the Chargers defense, some of these other defenses I've been holding on to, like Seattle, I had a bunch. This is a spot for me, and I could get why you could like disagree with this. I like them over the Patriots though, for sure. Gavin, Steelers disappointing defense this year. I'm starting them when I can. I picked them up in a few weeks because they were dropped. They have the highest paid defense in the NFL, Gavin, and it's not been great. TJ Watt's not been great. Again, not a great spot against Minnesota, mostly because the Minnesota's defense is so good, so you're not going to get a lot of short fields. But Carson Wentz is prone to turn the ball over. I think this is a spot for the Steelers. Early game, messy game, right? Overseas game. Give me the Steelers D. Matthew made a trade Kamara for Jamar. Egbuka, or McConkey. I still want McConkey over Egbuka. I'm probably in the minority there. I don't really quite understand the question. Kamara for it's probably, I don't know what it is. Kamara for Jamar, Egbuka, or McConkey. Clarify that one for me in the bottom and I'll answer it. Mark says full PPR DK against Minnesota. Tennessee is trash. I think Chubb gets tutty. Yeah, it's full PPR. I gotta go the receiver, bro. I know like Chubb can still get a tutty and have 70 yards and a touchdown. That's like 12 or 13 points. Like if DK scores a touchdown, it's gonna be 18 points. So right now, DK's line on DraftKings is 50 yards receiving, probably 4 catches, but he's still as good of a chance. He can any play, right? Strange or Ertz? Man, it's probably still Ertz. As much as I badmouth Ertz, it's Ertz. If Baker Mayfield doesn't play, should I stream Lawrence or Geno Smith? Geno Smith for sure. Mayfield will be playing though. Yeah, go Rams, man. I mean, I know it sounds weird. Like my reasoning, it just makes a lot of sense to me. And I've seen Danny Dimes suck forever. I'm not saying Danny Dimes sucks. I'm not saying he's bad for fantasy. He surprised all of us. I love the receivers there. I like the offensive line there. I like the coach there. I love Jonathan Taylor. There's a lot of good things going on in Indy. They are 3-0. This is a letdown spot. This is a must-win game for the Rams. They're at home. I love their defense. I'd rather play the Rams defense than Indy's defense. I still think it's Keon Coleman is the wide receiver 1 for the Bills. I think in crunch time, in terms of the go-to guy when it matters, is Shakir. And I think the red zone guy appears to be Dalton Kincaid. So no problem, Gavin. I appreciate you guys for the comments and tuning in and chilling with me on what is this, Friday night? Actually, right now it's a Saturday morning. It's 12:02. I don't think the Bengals are doing much. If anything, Russell Wilson sucks. So you don't want Russell Wilson. Jameis Winston's fine, but Jameis Winston's fun for fantasy. We like Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston sucks in real life. I think Browning's better than both those guys. Adam, I think the Vikings are a contender. Unfortunately, they're probably the 3rd best team in that division. And the Bears are no slouch either. It's just the Lions are amazing. The Packers are a juggernaut, and the Vikings are good. They're a 10-win team. FU Nami Network. No, Darren Waller has barely played this. I don't even think he's played a snap this year. You don't want any pieces of the Dolphins offense that's not named A-Chain and maybe Tyreek Hill. So, man, when McCarthy's healthy, and it all depends on how Carson Wentz looks and what's the record, man. Like, I don't know. I was not impressed by McCarthy. I did a whole 10 minutes last night on McCarthy. I would say go back and look, but it was a 3-hour and 18-minute stream. So you're not going to find it if you look in that one. McCarthy looked unimpressive. And I don't know if the injury was lingering from last year. That's what someone was trying to tell me. I don't agree. I just don't think he was ready. I don't think he's a good prospect. MS says, MS23, by the way. What do you think about Marvin Harrison for RJ Harvey? I'd rather have Marvin Harrison. Too many question marks for RJ Harvey. I don't care how inconsistent Marvin Harrison is. He's still the number one receiver on that team, and he's catching touchdowns. RJ Harvey's not seeing the field right now. Oh, he said, I was just letting you know I traded Kamara for Jamar Chase in my 14-team league. Oh, yeah. Would it be so? But my second wide receiver this week would be McConkey or Egbuka. I'm probably playing Egbuka over McConkey this week, but I like McConkey season long. And yes, I did tell you that. My bad, Matthew. I told him to run from the stream and trade Alvin Kamara for Jamar Chase right now. That's a great deal, bro. Well, you would think there's no way they wouldn't play JJ McCarthy, but did they have eyeballs? We have eyeballs. We saw those first 2 games. How bad was that? He had 1 good quarter out of 8 quarters. And it was in like scramble mode against what we know is a pretty bad Bears defense. So they could do that because Carson Wentz isn't like 40. He's like 32 and was almost an MVP once. They're in win now mode, man. Like JJ McCarthy was a bad pick. They traded up to get him bad pick. Champagne. Yeah, TJ Giddens is a great stash, man. And here's the point. Dave made this point a couple pods ago that he wants handcuffs with guys that have no standalone value because the starter gets all the work. More work a running back gets, more likelihood they get hurt, more hits they take. TJ Giddens is almost up to that elite tier. He's behind your Algiers and your Blake Corums and your Charbonnets, if you want to even count Charbonnet, but he is ahead of your Rico Dowdles and like your Woody Marks and those kind of guys. So yeah, JJ McCarthy's a rookie technically. I mean, whatever. I'm just not a JJ McCarthy guy. What about Travion for Ridley? I would rather have Travion than Ridley rest of the season, personally. Adam said, I just got a trade offer. I give Troy Franklin and receive Charbonnet. Yeah, Charbonnet over Troy Franklin's a waiver wire player to me. I don't want anything to do with the receivers unless it's Sutton. I don't want anything to do with Evan Ingram. I don't want anything to do with that backfield. I mean, Dobbins is fine for the short term, but oh, Jesus. Would you start Judkins or Olave in PPR? It's Olave, bro, by a mile. He has the second most targets in the league this year. He's averaging 11 plus targets a game, 7 catches a game. Now it's been 7 catches for 50 yards every game, which is 12 points. He can still catch a touchdown, believe it or not, and the volume's going to be there. Chris Olave is a good player, and they're going to get their brains beaten in by the Bills. No, I like, man. That's so tough. Wesley asked, so I like the Rams D over Houston and or Detroit season long. I think they're all tied. It's all matchups, right? I don't think any of them are like a can't drop or must roster or must start week to week, depending on the matchup. Rams D, elite defensive line. Houston, elite defensive line. Detroit, elite defense, it appears. So, but I still got to see more from Detroit. And Houston's offense is so bad, it's debilitating their defense. So I think the Rams D might be the answer. It's Rams or Detroit. All right, Chemical, what are you doing, bro? Can you please stop doing that? Speaking of Giddens, and since I have JT, should I drop Miles Sanders from him? Yeah, Miles Sanders, 100%. He's not even a handcuff. Like, they don't like him. So I'd prioritize getting Giddens. Even if I didn't have JT, I want Giddens over Miles Sanders. Robbie, should I pick up and hold Isaiah Likely to sell him and leave him in the wire? My tight end now is strange with Kittle. I mean, right now, what's the point of having another stash tight end? But I do like Likely. Well, yeah, everyone picked up Troy Franklin, Adam. And like, again, I'll also tell you when I was wrong. And maybe I still am wrong on this. I said, don't even pick up Troy Franklin. Definitely don't waiver him. And he can come out and have 7 for 78 again this week, and I'd be wrong. But Marvin Mims is still a thing there. They still like Pat Bryant. Evan Ingram is actually getting healthy. RJ Harvey might be a thing. I don't believe in Bo Nix. Their defense is good. All those things equal up to Troy Franklin being a nothing. No worries. Casey, no worries, bro. Would you hold the Green Bay defense over their bye? Yes. Green Bay is a hold. Like, there's only 3 or 4 defenses, and like the Eagles aren't one of them, for instance. Green Bay is a hold. It might be the best defense to hold this year. They're great. Been good, man. Dave was here for an hour and 20. I'm gonna do the last 10 minutes or so. I've been in the last 30 minutes solo. I try to keep it under 2 hours. Once I get over a 2-hour stream, I can't get any shorts from this video. Otherwise, I have to actually edit them myself. AI does it for me for the app I have, which is nice. I'm not really into shorts, but if I can get free shorts that take me 30 seconds to put out there, I'd like to get those. And usually I end up staying, and then next thing you know, I'm on here for 3 hours. So I've made 3 trades so far. Gave Kincaid for Judkins, Marvin Harrison for RJ, and Ridley for Travion. Yeah, I think he did pretty well. Nice little balance of upsides, like long-term and short-term stuff there. That works. Some of them I don't like for a 1-for-1, but when you give me the 3 like as a group, I like what you did. Connor says PPR, Khalil Shakir, or Hollywood Brown. It's Shakir. With Worthy coming back, man, I think he's going to eat into Hollywood snaps. I think Tyquan Thornton has kind of taken that downfield role. They still like Juju, and Hollywood might be only playing 65% of the snaps. So, not to mention, it's a rough matchup against the Ravens. Yeah, I like Marvin Harrison over RJ. Let's see. I'm starting Wentz this week. Definitely way better projected options out there, but it just seems like a fun play. Yeah, I mean, the Steelers defense hasn't been great, and you get to watch it like as a standalone game Sunday morning. By the way, this is just a crazy week because we have, typical Thursday night game. We have an 8:30 game. We have all the noon games. We have the 3:00 games. We have a Sunday night game. We have 2 Monday night games. Wild spread out week. I love it. David says made a trade offer. I offered JK. Who is this? J.K. Dobbins, Hubbard, and Wandale for RJ Cooks. It's a hard one to read. Kyron or Mason? Dubs or Kyron or Mason? Dubs or Trey Tucker? I want Mason number 1. I want Kyron Dubs number 3. Trey Tucker number 4. Yeah, I have it. I haven't added it into my app, by the way, GL, and I have to. It's a pretty good commercial. It's 8 seconds. I got to put that on there. It's pretty great. I forgot. Thanks for reminding me on that one because it is fun. All right, I got about 6 minutes left before I scoot. Again, tomorrow night is the gambling show. That is going to be around midnight, 11-ish, midnight, that type Central Time. I will put it on the Discord. I will put it as I'll set it 5 hours early so you can go to the channel and see what time it is. Fun show, a lot of gambling stuff. I'm going to show my picks up for you guys early since you're tuning in. I'll answer Tom's question first. Have Henry, Jacobs, Kyron, Dobbins, and Judkins. Really want to start Dobbins this week. Pick 3, 2 running backs, and a flex. You got to start Henry, you got to start Jacobs, and you got to start Kyron. You can't start anyone else. You got to start those guys. If you're going to bench one, it's Kyron, but I'm not doing that. I'm just sticking with my studs. I think you need to trade Dobbins. So, Debo or Flowers? Whew, that's a toughie, bro. I wanted to say Flowers because he's the better player, but with McLaurin being out, like, but I get that, but McLaurin's out, so that kind of is an advantage. Would you rather have Jaden Daniels playing with Debo and McLaurin, or would you rather have Mariota playing with just Debo? Like, I'd rather have McLaurin being out because Debo gets some backfield snaps. Like, it's so tough, bro. It's so tough. That's a toss-up. I think Debo's safer. Flowers has more upside. Hey, Flo. Greetings from Germany. Bucky, Irving, or James Cook rest of season, 16 Dynasty. Rest of season? Full PPR, I want Bucky Irving. Half PPR or standard, I want James Cook. Bucky Irving's catching a ton of passes. You can't start Dobbins over Kyron. I mean, Connor says Goddard or Kincaid, been going back and forth thinking about it. Tampa has a good rush D. It's Kincaid, man. I don't know. Kincaid has just been awesome. He's just been awesome. And I feel like he just has more touchdown up. They're just not throwing the ball in the red zone, and the Bills kind of are. Tucker Kraft is my dude. Tucker Kraft is my brother. He is my dad. He is my friend. He is my lover. That is Tucker Kraft. Purdy, May, or Geno. I'm going to go Purdy. I'm going to do it in that order. Purdy, May, Geno. No problem, Tom. Also managed to trade Jalen Warren plus Michael Pitt for Ted McMillan. Yeah, Ted McMillan's a great buy low, dude. He has not popped off. He has no touchdowns, no big games at all. I'm going to put my bets up for the week, so if you guys want to tail them, only did 3 this week. The episode's out, by the way. It's every Friday at 5. Some of these have gone up a bit. Jackson Dart did the same. Keon Coleman, I think, is at 39. And then Brock Bowers, depending on the sites, like 55. But Brock Bowers is the bet of the week for me. That one's a smash. I like Keon Coleman. That's a low number, bro. And then Jackson Dart is weird. I just think that's a really fucking high rushing total for a first start for a non-elite scrambler. What do you guys think about these bets? I got a couple minutes and I got to get out of here. Again, if you have not subbed to the channel, please do. 7 days a week, be doing this gambling, fantasy, fun, awesome community. Shout out to all those dudes, Steve, all the guys in here that have been in here consistently supporting me with an awesome chat, the Discord, you name it. It's been awesome. So what is your guys' take on these bets? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Oh, sorry, David. Give me 1 second. Carl says Pearsall, London, T-Mac, and Mooney. Pick 2. It's Pearsall and London. Or T-Mac and London. It's London for sure. Davis Hubbard and Wan'Dale Robinson for James Cook. Well, yeah, sorry. I couldn't quite read it the way you put it. I don't know. Maybe that was on me. That's a lot, but I like it. I want James Cook. Because Wan'Dale Robinson is a nothing, right? Nothing. And I like that trade. You really think so? You would bet the over, Steve. You would bet over 35 yards. That he has to have 35 yards. Jackson Dart, who is not a fucking scrambler. I get it. That was my worry, is so high, but I'm just thinking, would I ever bet the over on that, bro? That's high. Like Bo Nix never gets over like 25. He's a scrambler. 35 is just nuts. Yeah, David, that would be dope. Tom says, last question. I have Judkins and Marvin Harrison for JSN on the table. Keeper. I think you do that trade. If you're trying to win now, you do that trade. You're getting JSN. Marvin Harrison seems like a weekly headache, and Judkins has a potential suspension. We got a couple different things here. G. Allen says Dart isn't going over. There's a way it goes over, but there's also a way he has like 4 carries for 14 yards, which is most likely. Like, he's not going to have more than 50 yards, right? What's more likely? He has 50 or he has 10? I feel like 10 is more likely than 50. And they always set these quarterback rushing lines low because like they're so unpredictable week to week. So it's just crazy to me they have it that high. First start, Chargers, who knows? I don't know. Usually I'm really good at quarterback rushing totals, and they're always overs. So it's rare for me to bet an under. So the fact that I bet the under, maybe I'm just way off in this one. I don't know. I see it. Yeah, who knows? All right, gentlemen, I'm out of here. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Tomorrow night, midnight Central Time, gambling show. Be a great time. Go over a bunch of my bets, parlays. We'll go through every game. I'll have an awesome guest on here. Appreciate you guys if you join me. If not, have a great Saturday night. Crazy Sunday of football coming up with a lot of good stuff. Love each other. Respect each other. Enjoy your life. Remember, life is a gift. That's why it's called the present.